7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
The Savachi syndrome, I'm telling you, I'm like, well, holy shit, that was crazy. Wait for it. Thick and slick.
You know what, I'm just pressing
Yeah, I definitely. I don't want to take it with you, Johnny.
Bro, man.
Huh?
You got to put those sponsors in.
Oh, I will. It's
gotcha.
okay, but we're just getting started because these two are
Vice
talking
versa.
shit already. So just keep going, boys. Just keep going on this. This is good. We'll just sit here
Just
and listen.
remember, you're being recorded.
Yes. And I'm sending this
This is how Johnny and I
directly.
talk.
I'm sending this
Hey, man,
directly
your
to
hair-
Johnny's wife.
Your hair looks pretty good right now, buddy.
Does it look good?
No.
I didn't get a haircut.
Me neither.
So my boy at Bell Tire, I went to pick up wheels and tires today, and we get haircuts at the same place, and he went and got one this week, and I'm
That's
like,
weird.
really? You didn't call me? Like, that's cool.
You
Thanks,
guys
man.
get haircuts together at the same time?
In all honesty, it was just happenstance that we went at the same time last time I got a haircut, so
I'm
whatever,
gonna call
it's
bullshit.
fine. It's what? We do. Jude's Barbershop, bro. It's cool. Pictures of Paris
You don't have
Hilton
your
on
own
the wall.
personal stylist? I do.
We're not going to get into that, all right?
It's
Dude,
not
last
him,
time I
it's
was at a
her.
barber shop, they cut my eyebrows. I was like, oh, I'm coming back for sure.
The show took a real turn right off
I
the
wish
bat.
everybody else could hear what we're hearing.
I
right
know.
now.
I should have
Yeah.
got more splitters and more headphones because this is great.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right. Okay. So let me do a clap here and line this up. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show, episode number 183. We are creeping towards 200.
We're still going to do something special for that show.
Hopefully. We'll see. So anyway, we are presented by our sponsors, and we're going to list them all off here as fast as we possibly can. So
You
can
got them all
understand.
down?
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm going to start with
Viagra.
No, it's not Viagra. It's Blue Chew.
Oh, God.
Blue Chew.
Oh, my God.
No, so BC.Pizza, gourmet pizzas and junk, courtesy of our boy Justin over here. Coach, would you like to talk about our BC.Pizza sponsorship tonight and what we had for dinner?
Oh, I'm not going to touch that one.
It was not BC.Pizza.
It was not BC.Pizza. But let's blame that on Ashley. Let's do that.
Yeah,
let's
we'll
blame
blame
that
it
on
on
Ashley.
Oh, she walked out.
That's
Oh.
why I was going to blame her because she's not in here
All right.
to throat punch
I was gonna say she would literally come over here,
Yeah,
just
she's
right
like,
in the arm.
yep.
So anyway, so BC.Pizza. If you are in the Kalamazoo, Plainwell, Otsego, where are the other locations? Tell me the other
Georgia.
location. Georgia.
Yeah, we got Gaylord.
It's just anywhere in Georgia. Like you can just walk outside your house in Georgia and there's a
Yeah,
BC
you can
Pizza
throw a
outside.
rock and you'll find one.
Great.
No, there's only
Perfect.
one.
Okay. Do you know the city?
No, probably
Okay,
like McDonough,
perfect.
I
We
think.
are really good. You know, I asked you for a read about this a long time ago.
Look, I told you did fine.
So, gourmet pizzas and junk from BC.Pizza. BC.Pizza. You need a web address like that, Coach. You need like complete.racing solutions.
Okay.
I'm just saying. It's great. It throws me
All
off
right.
every time I read it. It's such a weird. Have you ever heard of
A dot?
A web? Yeah, I
No.
don't know. It's weird. Anyway.
.gov.
Okay. Also want to thank our longtime sponsor, TLR Coatings, custom powder coating, Cerakoting, sandblasting, vapor blasting. Call us, not Tom Cooper, at the end of the
I was
table.
just going to say,
Totally
is that,
fine.
I think that's Tom, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
That's what I heard.
Holy.
Wow.
Did I just buy you a 6-pack of that?
Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because this show's going downhill so
God,
fast.
now I don't have to get in your shit. He just can.
Kevin, you might not want to be in the shop as we're going here because it's going to get wild quick here, I have a feeling, as soon as we
Kev's
break
doing
loose.
business right now.
So anyway, so make sure to check them out, tlrcoatings.com, Instagram at TLRcoatings. I post all the coolest photos on there. And we do not have an OnlyFans account, so if you find us on OnlyFans, it's not us. FYI. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. All right, next up, I want to thank Premier Custom Trailers. Boys?
Incredible
Coach,
trailer.
How was the trailer?
Unbelievable.
Coach has commented
So
me
nice.
several times on my trailer.
Incredible.
Sweet.
Justin, actually, Tom, down there, speak loud because you don't have a microphone. Actually, yeah, grab Justin's there. Tom, do you need a trailer?
You know, I'm always in the market for a trailer. You can never have too many trailers.
Do you need a commercial or residential one?
Both, actually.
Okay, well, then you want to go to Premier Custom Trailers because they have what you need. They work with the best manufacturers in the industry and specialize in all your trailer needs.
It was
Sales.
very nice today.
What? Huh?
Very nice, very nice.
I was in the middle of the read. Thank you. Sales, service, parts, or rentals, they do it all. You could rent a trailer from them. Just saying. Anyway, PremierCustomTrailers.com, located 5 minutes south of Kalamazoo on US 131 in Schoolcraft, Michigan. They put the custom in customer service.
What is that noise?
That's Johnny. That's Johnny typing in the background.
Oh.
Really?
Yep.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Are you on Pornhub right now?
Way to go, John. Sorry.
He
Emails.
doesn't- have you
emails.
seen his wife? He doesn't need that.
No, I
Trailers
haven't.
and
No, Johnny's good. Go ahead.
Johnny's putting on looking up Premier Custom Trailers to order a trailer?
Yes.
I think is making so much in
I
Bitcoin.
heard vapor blasting. I heard trailers. You know, and I was like, oh, I'm just.
I gotta look up all of them.
See,
All right.
Johnny's killing it in Bitcoin. He's just going to buy the trailer company.
I know. He's really killing Bitcoin.
Well, we got Marantz in here. I just think Bitcoin, Johnny Hopper. We'll talk about it later.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
the guy that just sold at Bitcoin at 43,000. It's like 68,000 right now.
I know, it's fucking fantastic. I'm making so much money.
by the time
right
we
now.
get done with tonight's show,
I'm actually looking at a chart at $60,997 at the moment.
nice.
All right. I'm in.
Not why we're here.
I'm in.
That's not why we're here.
We could be. Who knows? This
why-
turned into an
Hey,
investment
hey.
podcast.
Hopper, can you say that again? That is why. That is why we're not here. Say that really like you just did it.
I'm trying to figure out what the joke.
No.
Why not?
He's
Okay.
trying to figure
There's-
out what the joke
No,
is.
there's absolutely no
Bitcoin
joke.
is currently at $60,997, but that's not why we're here.
All right, say that. That's why we're not. That's why we're not here. Say that in your best announcer voice that you can do it.
That's why we're not here.
And that will be what you drop when we start going when we start going down a bunny trail.
Yeah.
you hit that replay. That's why we're not.
That's why we're not here.
We're not here for that.
That was like the god of Supercross.
That's
But now
awesome.
that is from Mr. Hopper himself,
Perfect.
adding to the show.
Perfect.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Hop.
Want to thank our
now that
regular.
I'm embarrassed, we can put that. Well, like, let's just make that into a chipmunk. That would sound like make it real fast, real squeaky.
The great Johnny has not lived
almost
forever.
like that. Have you ever heard a squirrel orgasm? That's what I want you to do, Travis. Make it sound like a squirrel orgasm. Not the
Kev,
white
you ever
ones,
heard of a
but the
squirrel
black ones,
orgasm?
because
That's what we're
they
talking
know how
about
to get
now.
it on.
A squirrel orgasm.
Courtesy of Johnny Hopper.
I don't know. Johnny's off the rails. What? Have you been drinking? Like, did you and your wife crack a bottle of wine for dinner tonight, or what, dude?
Dude, substance abuse is not in my forte. Like, I don't know. I'm
I didn't say substance abuse. I said
a
wine,
low
Johnny.
ball. It doesn't take much to.
Hey, Johnny is not a
He's saying
cheap date.
he's saying he's a cheap date.
No, he's not a cheap date. He's an
Yes, I'm
no.
really cheap, man.
Nope,
Get
no,
me
no,
at
no.
altitude.
Johnny is not a cheap date. He's an inexpensive date. There's a distinct difference. Distinct difference.
Depends on where you take him, Coach.
Oh god.
True. Good point. Good.
Hey,
good
hey,
point.
hey! I'm bougie and cheap. Okay, so
that even
I
doesn't
want it to be
make
nice,
That doesn't
but I want it to be cheap.
I
All
feel
right,
so bad
no,
for Travis.
No motels
Travis can't
with
even.
numbers.
Can you get
I'm
through
okay
this
with
read?
a Holiday Inn.
Dude, this is like that
But no,
Pulp
no,
show.
no.
Travis,
Yeah.
Travis. I got to clear something up here.
Oh boy.
The
Okay.
only celebrity that is in this entire group is Kevin Moran. Why doesn't he have a mic?
Well, in
Well,
all
you
fairness,
see-
we only have 3, and with what we're going to talk
Kevin, you're a
about,
celebrity, apparently.
we're not going to have Kevin
Oh.
on right this second.
Okay.
Kevin's still got to be
That's
involved in this sport somewhat for a
These people
while
in real
here.
trouble,
So
Well, this is what goes back to Hopper and Mr.
He just
Bitcoin.
needs an alias. Is what he needs.
He needs an alias.
Yeah.
yeah, his alias is Jeff Walker.
Don.
Poor Kevin has no idea how
Fucking
buried he's getting
terrible.
right
I
now.
know.
Don Juan.
And you guys say that you're friends. That's what's interesting.
Look, if we weren't friends, I wouldn't be making fun of
This
him.
is true.
So
Look, Travis is just a sponsor.
yeah, dude, it's fine. We're not going to drop him. We
Can
love
you,
that guy.
Can you get back to the read?
Maybe. I don't know. Johnny just keeps talking. So
We want to talk more about chipmunks,
Like I
squirrels.
said, you know what
And
this
orgasms, all in one sentence.
You know what this reminds me
Whales.
of is RV and Weimer on Pulp MX when they were fucking hammered.
Yeah,
Except-
let's not go that far. That was pretty bad.
That
was bad.
fucking terrible.
Yeah, that's some big
Oh,
regrets
man.
right there.
Okay.
You guys opened it with trailers and vapor blasting, and
We do cool shit around here, Johnny. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I got a cool fucking
it's
trailer
just like
and I
a
make
quote that
cool
needs
shit.
to.
What'd he say?
I don't know.
I missed that too.
just thinking about squirrels.
I'm gonna mute that line soon here. Just
That's all I'm thinking of right now. Like, what the?
Oh, man.
Anyways.
Anyway, back to the sponsors. So thanks you to our normal show sponsors. First off, Alias Sport, CBD Pain Balm, and Chill Oil. Great stuff there. If any of y'all want some, we have lots of it. We will send y'all with some packages. Kevin will send you with some, too. Wouldn't suggest using it during the season, just in case. The CBD Pain Balm and the Chill Oil. What do you... We do right now. It's aliasport.com, and I got a whole bunch, so you're going to get some before you leave. We'll hook Sater up. Ashley's already got some.
Have a contact Kevin Rand.
We'll talk after the show. Anyway, also want to thank Complete Racing Solutions. Boom, Tumbler. Justin,
Boom.
show them
Boom,
the Tumbler
look at
that
that, look at
now
that.
Coach Rob doesn't
Look
have
at
one
that,
because
look at
you
that.
have yours.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
So anyway, and the one and only Coach Rob from Complete Racing Solutions is with us here tonight.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for being in
joining
studio,
us.
sir.
Thanks for having me.
So
It's
we
awesome.
about froze Coach Rob to death at the track this
Oh,
afternoon
God.
because he's Florida and he's not used to this cold weather, and he was literally shaking when we left. I felt so bad. The poor guy was shaking. He's like, "No, I'm fine. This is
good.
cool. It's good." I'm like, "Dude, this is bad. I'm gonna have to call Michaela and be like, I'm sorry, he froze to death." And in all fairness, his body is perfectly preserved right now. So like in 20 years, we can bring him back to life. It's cool. It's
There
fine.
you go. It's good to be here. Thanks for
It's a
having
red
me.
flag as soon as somebody says they're fine.
Jesus.
You guys know what fine stands for.
Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
What
No,
the
Johnny, tell us.
fuck?
Yeah. No.
What was it? I missed it.
So fine is an
It's
acronym.
frustrated, irritated, nervous, and emotional. So anytime somebody says they're fine, they're not fine. You either run away or, like, okay, just think about it. Any rider, anybody that gets hurt and they say they're fine, you're like, no, you're not fine. Or if you meet somebody in the grocery store and they say they're fine, that's a conversation you don't want to have.
Just letting everybody know we got like 12 hours till we're doing breakfast. So
Holy shit.
the podcast has to be less than 12 hours. And our last couple sponsors here, the Dirt Bike Depot, thedirt-bikedepot.com. They sell gently used and basically new gear on there, so make sure to go check it out. I think they're doing used bikes too. Have you seen it? Have you looked
I think
recently?
so,
Are they
yeah.
doing used bikes
I think
too?
so.
I think they are. And our other helpful sponsor, JT Cycle, who's helping us do some giveaways for the fantasy podcast that we do for fantasy supercross and motocross. So make sure to check out that podcast too. And then make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. As y'all can tell, this show is going to go off the rails quick.
I already did.
But it's a good thing it's an off-season show, so it doesn't really matter.
Tom just keeps going.
Tom just keeps drinking. Make sure to follow us on all the major social media. There are links in the description for merch, Amazon, Patreon, all that good stuff. If you want to listen instead of watch us on YouTube, which, do it all. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And okay, boys, we're through the reads now. So, wait, one more sponsor.
Oh, God.
What is it? Isaac Nelson Designs? Yeah, Isaac Nelson Designs. He is helping us with some thumbnails and logos. So if you are following us on YouTube, like the Jeff Walker bike build, all those all those thumbnails for those, he's designing all those for us. So make sure to check him out. I believe it's isaacnelsondesign.com. Kev, Peanut Gal, something like that. Close enough. I'm giving him a shout out, so he's cool. So anyway, make sure to check him out. He will probably, sue me after this because I didn't get him in 2 shows or last show, and now this show I'm fucking it up because I didn't write the whole thing down like I need to. But screw me, whatever. Who cares? Anyway, it's just a lawsuit, no big deal. I also like court. It's fine. I'm just kidding. The guy's super cool, man. He's super cool. So, Coach, if you do, I know you kind of have that unlocked, but Tom, if you need a logo design.
Having some issues with the designers right now, so I might be needing him before long.
I'll give you his phone number, dude. You can hit him up, say Travis from Moto Aftermath Show sent me, and boom, maybe even work something out with it. His prices are reasonable.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That's
anyway, cool. Okay, so boys, the reason we are all on here, as I said, myself, Travis, the one and only Coach Rob, my normal co-host Justin, Johnny Hopper, and Chris Cooksey. We have to be like the most controversial. Tom Cooper's here also.
Wait. What was that last one you said? I don't think I've ever heard of Cooksey before.
Really?
Yeah.
Nope. Don't know
He's
that
Supercross
guy.
only.
He's Supercross only. All right, so
I
basically,
am for sure. I'm banned from outdoors.
See, exactly.
true.
I was right.
he can't even go to an outdoor race.
I know,
Fuck.
it's not allowed.
All right, so we are all here because we all love the sport. We really want to fix the sport. And, Cooksey is heading this charge of kind of helping to fix the sport in a way. He's bringing some things to light. I know he dropped that article about the whole Glenn Helen thing. I'm sure you've read it.
Yes.
Have you read it?
I've read part of it.
Wow. You knew we were doing this podcast, and you've read. It's not even a super long. I read the whole fucking thing.
At least he's honest.
Good God.
I'm going to go ahead and cut up some slack. It's pretty long and
See?
it's kind of tedious. It's not one of my more fun articles, but I had to get that info out, and I had to make all that. I had to put it all in there because most of it's a direct quote from the contract, so it doesn't flow very well. But you got to do what you got to do.
So, my first question for you, Chris, has there been any blowback? Because I know we had been talking. There was obviously you were going to put that out on 2.4 speed. You've talked about this on your Cooksey and the Coach show. They decided that they weren't going to go with it because they were nervous about putting it out. Has there been any blowback so far from it outside of, keyboard warriors, or has it just been everything's been gravy so far?
Yes, one of our sponsors was leaned on. I'll just say that.
That's
And
exciting.
that's literally the only connection left that they have. And Coach and I have kind of gone a different way. We're just like, you know what? We don't need sponsors. We're just going to do our thing, and we'll promote our own stuff. But that's pretty much it. We want to say what we want to say. We don't want to have to manipulate it or do anything. And it is what it is. We got integrity.
I like it. Now, did the sponsor? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Did the sponsor drop you or anything, or are they cool with it? They're like, screw it, we're going at this.
No. They said that, and they want to stay a part of it. But he said, listen, I am running a business, and if they come back again, he totally has our back. But,
Yeah.
And I don't want to. The thing is, I don't want my battle to become his battle.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'm not putting. He didn't sign up to get into a battle over all this stuff and blowing out how much money is being made by the organization, not the riders. And that's not his battle. That's mine. So I said, dude, if you get any heat whatsoever, you tell me, and I will cut it off. No hard feelings. No big deal. So, yeah.
I thought the article was really good. It definitely laid out kind of like the issues of what's going on behind the scenes, and it was good because it laid out, you're not speculating on anything. You had contracts in hand, which I too have seen some of them and read through some of them. Those I have not read the whole thing because I'm not a reader, so I've read bits and pieces here, and then obviously talk to you all at length about this. So I can go with I know what you're talking about. I know that it's all legit. We actually have a couple of tracks that we're trying to get in contact with too to talk about this kind of stuff. So it's all legit, and it lays it out because this is the stuff that your average person doesn't see. All of us here are kind of, we'll call it quote unquote on the inside, or as Tom likes to put it, we're in the circus essentially. So we all have seen this, and the crazy thing is like, unless you're in the circus, you don't really know. Once you're in the circus, it's not very hard to figure out because everyone in the pits talks about it. There isn't a privateer I have gone up to and said something about things you have said in this article, whether it be payout, things MX Sports are doing, any of that stuff in between, that they're not like, yep, 100%, that's right. Everyone, like, I'll learn stuff, I'll go talk to someone, and they already knew it because they've been in the circus longer than I have, and that blows my mind that it's that bad, but no one talks about it. And that's why we're here, to talk about it.
That's the one thing people ask me, are you trying to blow it up? No, I'm literally trying to make it better. And I'm not even sports. They do an amazing job at putting the race together, getting the TV broadcast, making it look very professional. The only issue I have is the split with the money. It's like a tripod and one leg's growing and two aren't, and it's going to tip over. Like, you can't do that. Eventually, be able to make the living. Honestly, I think MX Sports would be surprised. I truly believe if they did split it a little more equally and make it a little bit more profitable for their partners, I think it would grow even more.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
This is where
Go, Johnny.
competition breeds innovation. And if you're the only circus in town, you make the rules, people start following the rules. Why should you change your rules is really the thing. Until somebody else starts having another circus that is cheaper or more advantageous for the riders, all these different deals, nothing is going to change. That's kind of my opinion on it. Unless everyone just literally boycotts one, the only way to for somebody else. You know, it's the whole like Apple, Google, Android thing. If somebody has a better product than you, you either let them win or you reverse engineer their product and make an even better product. And then it gives
Johnny,
people choices.
But it's a little bit tricky in this scenario because you take a look at history, you look at the Indy cars. They were bigger than NASCAR until they split with IRL and CART, and that has essentially killed that sport. Our sport is so small, if there were a split, it could do some real damage.
Now, Johnny, let me ask you this, because I know you're saying someone has to come along with a better product. You don't feel, because obviously, I mean, we've all been around it. I haven't been in the circus as long as any of you other guys. I'm fresh to this. I haven't even been that into the sport until, what was it, 13, 14, that I came around your shop, Justin?
Yep.
So in this short amount of time, I figured this out, I found it out, and now I'm doing my best, as we all are, to kind of put it out there. You don't think that leaning on this, where we're putting it out constantly, that this is fucked up and this needs to be handled and it needs to be done differently, you don't think at some point that pressure is going to build enough momentum to get to them without just basically the guys all quitting? Oh, Coach is shaking his head at me. I made a bad point.
No. You go ahead, Johnny.
Well, it's kind of a good point. It's a loaded question, you know, because unfortunately, I feel, biased conspiracy theorist fucking Hopper over here, is this stuff all happens from being brainwashed from, you know, little bikes. Like everyone comes from dirt poor, cheap, you know, you're racing motorcycles, you like bikes and etc. And, you know, the goal is to become a professional and start making some money. But rarely does it really add up in the end where you can make enough money that you're set up for the next year type of a thing. And with what Cooksey was saying, I get it, that one entity, as soon as they split, it kind of destroyed everything. But my question is how do we make the sport bigger as opposed to splitting it? Okay, you have 100 people, you split it in half, it's 50-50. Well, what if the other 50 could then make another 50? So now you've got one entity that has 50 people, then you have another entity that has 100 people. They're going to eventually overtake the smaller one. I think the bigger look is, how do we grow the sport? How do we make it bigger? How do we make it to the point where, you know, more people are involved? And I think that has to do with potentially having I'm digressing a bunch.
Digress away,
Johnny,
baby.
you are all good, buddy.
We're here all night.
You are all good, buddy.
The sport is going to fucking die because it's becoming too expensive to have a motorcycle, blah, 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 blah. We're having less TV coverage. You know, you have to find the shit on Peacock, and we all know what kind of a nightmare some of that stuff is. And, you know, magazines are dying, and there's all this stuff. How do you grow the sport? How do you get more outside sponsors? I'm not talking about 100%. I'm not talking about, you know, V-Force, whatever, industry stuff that we're into, you know, VP Racing, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about like big sponsors like Bitcoin or some sort of a crypto deal, or, you know, Google or something bigger to have bigger money involved. And I think we need to have more fun races, you know, have more off stuff to where people can follow. I think it's granted, there needs to be more drama. I think if you look at society right now, people they don't want to sit down for a motocross race that's 3 hours long on a Saturday. They want to see something quick fix that's 20 minutes long. Sweet, you know, move on to the next thing. Same thing with fighting. You know, they want to see all the drama on social media. That they want something to follow. And I just think we're going about it wrong with how, you know, like pure fans sit down and watch a 35-minute moto.
Yep.
Anybody else, like, am I making any sort of a point between you guys?
100%. You're
It's great, Johnny. Keep going.
no, you're right on the money.
Good shit. I will say this, though. We're hitting go ahead.
Oh, I was just not that I'm trying to interrupt you, Chris, because you're not sitting in the same room as me. So, you know, I don't have to. I can be a little bit disrespectful because you won't beat the shit out of me. Like TikTok and everything, like people want to see stuff 15 seconds at a time. Like, look at our Instagram feed and shit. Like, how often do you see yourself attached to that little screen and you're scrolling and you don't stay put on something and finish something the entirety? You're looking at 20 different things within an hour, and then you realize, oh shit, I've been doing this for 2 hours. Like, that's the whole mindset, that somebody needs to come around and figure it out to get some, like, I don't know, just out of the top of my head, it'd be cool to be seeing more of like Dash for Cash type shit going on, which I think that would be fun. That's entertaining for people.
Look, I just want to see somebody take out somebody's front wheel every corner. Every corner.
Matasevich Bradshaw.
Tyler Evans. Tyler Evans
Johnny,
used to do that.
Yeah, you just don't want to be the rider. And if you're the fucking rider, like I'm full blown for Dash for Cash, where we're all stupid. we're all stupid motorcycle guys, where we like the adrenaline.
Johnny,
that's why we don't do drugs until we retire. You're in the, you got your dopamine, serotonin is pumping.
Nico Izzy.
Your adrenaline is all, you don't care if you die because you're just going to ride. But wouldn't it be more fun if you're in a Dash for Cash and you're like, okay, this is 50 grand is on the line kind of a thing, like that I can make some real money at this. But no, it's like $500 is I'm going to lose my life over, it's stupid,
The Ozx Open was doing that.
That would be my deal, is if we want the entertainment to be as violent and as exciting as possible, you got to pay the gladiators.
Look, I want to see Eli and
They're stupid
Dylan.
enough that they will do it. I want
to see Eli and Dylan in
it's just
Super
sad to
NASCAR
see
1-on-1.
people. Sorry, I'm talking over you guys.
Johnny,
what did
Johnny,
Jason say?
in the next,
I was just saying I
In the
want to
next
see
10
Eli and
years,
Dylan
we're
in
gonna
Super.
have-
Oh crap!
This is going well.
Go ahead, Chris. My bad.
oh no, it's not. It's kind of tough. We can't see each other, so it's hard to not cut each other off. But no, I say in the next 10 years, we're going to see a new window. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but there's an e-bike revolution going on, and they're getting better. And the first person, there's going to be an opening, and somebody's going to be able to start whatever kind of new series they want with that new type of stuff that maybe could draw those type of sponsors, Johnny. They're going to be able to have races anywhere. You're going to be able to ride in backyards as long as you have room. You're going to have some of these BMX tracks probably being converted over to e-bike tracks. It's going to be pretty gnarly. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but there's going to be an opportunity. So.
Coach is disagreeing with you, shaking his
I
head.
agree.
Go ahead, Coach.
Well, it's not that I disagree. I think the original subject was we're looking at the original motocross series that we like, we love. It goes because what Chris is talking about is Johnny on the Spot, but it's its own entity. The original discussion was how do we change the monopoly, the manipulation, the intimidation of the existing organizing group, and that's why I was shaking my head to yourself. When you were saying earlier, I literally received a text message from somebody because Chris and I talked about a particular person on our amateur show, and I got a text message, and the exact text was, please do not discuss me anymore because I do not want to be perceived as being a crybaby. And to me, that sums it up because it's a small bike rider.
Isn't that kind of crying?
Yeah. You know what
Nail on the head, Johnny.
I mean-
Nail on the head, bud.
Yep. But I think it's
Okay,
interesting.
sorry, I had a blonde moment. I'm over here.
But here Chris
Johnny is the best.
Here Chris and I are talking about somebody who got literally bait and switched by a team. Chris and I talked about it, and I get a text message from the person, and the rider and the family is concerned that if they voice the truth, that they're going to get blackballed because they told the truth, which creates a vicious circle that's never going to end. Because the promoters are owning and manipulating the manufacturers. And when I say manufacturers, I don't care if it's a gear company, a motorcycle manufacturer, a goggle company, fuel, tires, whatever. If you don't say what they want you to say, they will literally pick up the phone and get you fired, terminated. I guess that's synonymous. But they got Chris Cooksey fired.
Been there, done that.
They got
And Coach,
Go ahead, brother.
Coach, that's my point exactly. Is we're human beings. We've been around for 200,000 years. Like how we've stayed alive is we've gathered in groups. And we've all heard the saying that the lone wolf dies while the pack survives. If the pack in general just say, this is the current industry, if they want you to think a certain way and they want you to act a certain way, they will push you out. And so people are going to conform to that ideology. And so the only way of kind of breaking it is starting something else and then slowly having other people come over here like, hey, no, we're the Trump supporters, like, come over here, not stay. If you want to be with Brandon, stay with Brandon over there, but come over. Again, I'm digressing, but you'd have to start a new club in order to get people from, ganging up on certain people and making it a certain standard. Because if you want to, I guess the word I want to use is I want to say,
Johnny, just punch the biggest motherfucker in the mouth, Johnny. There you go.
But here's the problem. But here's
I'm kidding.
Here's the problem, though, Johnny. You've got one group of people that own two different dynamics. If you don't play along with me in my pro race, I'm going to take away your amateur qualifier. So if you're not going to play with me in this sandbox, you're going to lose another sandbox. And that's what I'm saying. You can say to me, hey, let's build a better widget. Well, unless you go out and you build tracks, there's not a single track that's out there, with the exception of maybe Glen Helen or something that has separated themselves, that's going to even be willing to play with anybody in a new environment. Think about the complexities of that. If I'm going to start a new race series, who am I going to get to that's going to allow me to host a race when the majority of the racetracks out there hold an area, a regional, or a pro national? What are you left with?
And that's where they make all their bread and butter. So they're not going
are they making their bread and butter because they're trying to make the sport better, or are they making their bread and butter because they've put a stronghold on the sport and leaves it absolutely no place to go except within the four walls of the dictator? I'm just going to call it for what it is.
Well, we're going to get a letter after that one.
I had the owner of
Nazis.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Vital.
I like it.
You're welcome, Vital.
We should not have given Coach beer this early.
That's water. What do you mean?
Oh, sorry, water in that cup.
Drinking water right now.
Michaela, that's totally water. I didn't give him any sort of alcohol. Sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
Guys, but okay. Here's the problem: is like everyone is fighting over such a small piece of the pie that.
But the pie's
they
owned
don't
by
want
only
to
one
lose
cook.
Their pie.
But the pie's
yeah,
being.
but when it's split by. Sorry, Coach.
No, go ahead, bud. Go ahead.
You sound 10 times smarter than me, so I have to talk louder than you to try to make it sound like. Yes.
I would say 20, Johnny.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. I'm giving myself a little. I'm gonna go 10 times. 20 times is too much. I'm not that small.
Okay. 50.
I'm 155 pounds, dude, but I'm definitely going on like 195. That's what I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like the little wiener dog that's like, fuck you, I'm gonna bark at the biggest dude, but then as soon as he comes over here, I'm gonna whine like a little.
Oh my god. What is
On
happening?
the telephone, you are a UFC champ, bro.
Well, let's just not dial Pulp, okay? Let's just not dial Pulp.
Does anybody have their number? Cooksey, you got their number?
Can we call Forrest? Can we call Forrest?
Can we call Forrest right now?
Chris, you got his number, right?
Forrest Griffin? Forrest Butler?
Forrest Butler.
Which one do you want to talk to?
All of the above.
All of the above. Steve, Forrest Griffin. I don't care.
I got Herb Dean's number.
You do?
You sound really surprised by that.
That is awesome.
Go ahead, Hop. Go ahead, Johnny.
He's kind of a dick,
All right.
actually.
Okay, this isn't a dick measuring contest, Chris. We don't have to open up all our contacts to know how many people we know.
Why, Johnny? Who do you got?
Herb Dean, that's a...
I'm just kidding.
Hey, Johnny, let's go back to the size of your pie.
Oh,
Johnny, let's go back to the size.
Who's got a pick on me?
Johnny, go back to the size of the pie you were talking about.
Yes. Look, in the Halloween spirit, it's a pumpkin pie. Okay?
A pumpkin pie.
When
Okay.
it's
Oh, my God.
Hey,
I only eat apple.
No, pumpkin is way better than apple.
Go for it.
Okay, go back to the pie. Don't bother the flavor.
We're cutting up the pie and,
I
it's
feel like the
pumpkin,
host
Johnny
isn't even
says.
paying attention.
All right.
Travis is starting a whole other conversation. We're having a grown-up conversation here about apple pie versus pumpkin pie.
Sorry, man.
Why is this not important?
My
Travis?
GoPro just took a shit, so we're going audio only on this one, apparently.
Wow, we're professional.
We're a professional podcast. God. Please sponsor us.
Go ahead, Johnny. Finish up your...
Yeah, Johnny, make your point, man. Let's hear this, bro. You're doing
So
well.
the 1,000-foot view is, the pie is being split up to too many people. They don't want to give up their piece of their pie because it's their livelihood. If it was a bigger pie, they could stick the finger to you and go somewhere else because they will still be able to feed their family and everything. So again, it's just a money thing. It's a money thing. We all know that it's very difficult to make money in the realm of motorcycle, whatever. And that's just how it is. And the big question is, how do you change it? And my only thing that I can think of is how you change it is you have to have a bigger income than an outflow. And the whole realm of motorcycle racing is like going into a hospital. You can't go into a hospital thinking that you're going to leave with more money than you have. Like, it's stupid. Same thing with racing motorcycles is it's stupid. You can never think, like Donnie Hansen once told me, Donnie said, Johnny, how do you retire wealthy racing dirt bikes? And I was like, well, fuck, dude, that's easy. You beat everybody and you win. You're the champ, man. You're RC. You're Vineville Puddle. Blah 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 blah. And he said, no, you dumbass. You start off being rich because then you'll end up being kind of wealthy at the end of it. So that's my multiple cents there. So anyway, digression over.
So
Go ahead, Chris.
go ahead, Coach.
So
you go, Coach.
what I think's fascinating is Johnny has drank the Kool-Aid that MX Sports wants everybody to believe. The sport's as big as it's going to be. It's as good as it's going to be. There's no more new money that's available. If you look at that contract that Chris put up there, I don't know about you, but I'd love to take home that much after a national.
Yeah.
That MX Sports is taking home. So when we say that there's no money to be had, and you're looking at, you must put up this much money. I think it's within, what is it, Chris, 48 hours after the race? 100K?
Yeah, something like that.
And then you've got to give up, if you go and you look at what Chris posted, you've got to give up a percentage of the merchandise, which, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, I think it's an 80-20 split, which I have a problem with that right off the bat. And then out of the 20% that you make, you got to already earmark and commit to the race announcer, the track maintenance crew, of which is our employees of MX Sports. That comes out of your commission, out of your percentage of the merchandise. So let's get this straight. The merchandise sales take place before you make a dime. MX Sports gets their additional money to pay for announcer, track maintenance fee, blah, 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 blah. And if there's anything left, then you get your I don't want to confuse anybody. Go look at the contract. Look at where it says the merchandise revenue. It is not a 50-50 split. And then they subdivide that they're already taking money out of it before you even get to the track. They're saying you're going to pay the $100,000 and you're going to pay the announcer, which I think they say there could be 2 to 3 announcers at $2,000 a piece. So your merchandise sales are already in the whole $6,000. If you go with 3, let's just go with 1. You're already in the whole $2,000 on merchandise. Then their track maintenance fee, I think they bring in John Ayers or whoever they do to maintain the tracks. Your merchandise sales are at a negative before the first person walks in the gate. And all of that upfront money is immediately siphoned over to MX Sports. But there's no money in the sport to be made.
So
that's interesting. Go ahead, Johnny.
You have to put up the purse money too, $70,000.
All right, so now you're at
Yeah, so
170 grand plus the initial the extra $2,000 for the announcer, and the first person hasn't even walked on the property yet. For the privilege.
I had one of the tracks tell me it's $250,000 before they even walk anyone through the gate.
$250,000 you're in the hole, but there's no money to be made. We got Kevin Morantz in studio. Do you
on
think
paper it's very advantageous for
Kevin, does
one
a quarter mil sound pretty good?
Kev's got a lot of money. What are you talking about?
Okay, great.
Kev's rich.
that's what he makes from Patreon? I heard.
Yeah, that's what he makes from Patreon.
Maybe in like 1,000 years.
Go ahead, Johnny. Sorry about that, bud.
OnlyFans.
Oh no! On paper, it's very advantageous for one person, but not that I just that's how business works. If you create the thing, you're going to make the majority of the pie.
But
that's just typical how business?
But are you creating something, or are you monopolizing something?
Ding, ding,
Because if I come
We have
in
a
with my
winner.
own race
Yes,
series,
yes.
if I come in with my own race series and I go to your track, you're going to be forced to make an executive decision, which you're going to be intimidated by, that if you allow me to come to your track, you're going to lose your area, your regional, and or your national. Is that a calculated risk you're willing to take? The answer is not no, but hell
Hey,
no.
Coach,
No, it's a strong offer.
I gotta correct
is what
you on-
it is.
I don't know that. So I actually talked to the owner of WW Ranch this week, and he got a hold of me and told me that they did not take that area or regional from him. He said he had to give it up because he had a Spartan event. And either way, I still have an issue with it. So wait a second, you're a motocross track, but you gave away a premier amateur race to make money with a Spartan race.
Yeah, but
So which one's more profitable? That's sad to me.
no, it's not sad
Dude,
at
and
all.
it's happened like Lakewood, the national there. From again, don't quote me because I don't have no effing evidence in front of me from just information that. So anyway, forewarning that I might be full of shit. Okay, so
Disclaimer.
my conversations, David Claybach, who owns Lakewood, they make more money doing the whole like Spartan races and
Yep.
things of that nature than, running just what you said with WW Ranch.
Don't let that
It's
don't
more
let that
profitable to charge people.
Yeah, that's nothing to be sad about, Cooksey. Dade City, they hold a Spartan race. Spider MX, they hold a Jeep crawl. You can print money because you don't have to put anything into the facility. So that's not a bad situation.
But how come? No. My question is, how come that model makes so much money?
Because they bring
There's
in
none for the other events.
they bring in like 5,000 to 6,000 people over 2 days at $200 to $300.
Volume.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Well,
crazy
that
numbers.
That makes sense.
But I never called out WW Ranch as losing something. I'm just saying, in Johnny Hopper's example, if Johnny owns a track and I'm a new race promoter and I come to Johnny's track and Johnny just happens to have an MX Sports related event, Johnny's going to have to make an executive decision, take a risk with something new or run the risk of losing something that he currently has. Now, again, props to MX Sports. That's a good business. They've been able to interweave themselves because, hey, if I get tired of going and spending ridiculous amounts of money to race 6 minutes and I get irritated, I'm just going to go to GNCC. Screw everybody. Oh, that's right. It's still MX Sports. They've done a pretty good job of putting a stronghold on the market. But I tip my hat.
Rob,
good job.
I'm so over almost anything motorcycle related, and I think we can all get the impression that that's exactly where some of my content has come from.
Sure.
Really, I think as opposed to trying to change how things are done and trying to teach an old dog new tricks as far as the analogy goes, is your time is better spent creating something new. Whether if you're just bootleg, completely copy paste what somebody's already done, well, good for you that you're not having to try to reinvent the wheel. You're just going to change small pieces and parts of it. That's why it was so sad to see the arena cross, kind of go to the whole Supercross future road to Ricky Carmichael stuff. And that's why I'm hoping that the whole kicker arena cross stuff starts kicking off more, because, you know, you need another series to breed competition before you have somebody like, okay, here's the conservative in me. The whole nationalized healthcare deal. What has that done to our premiums for health insurance? It's like damn near not affordable whatsoever. But when healthcare was on the open free market, there was competition, and so there you could actually have something that was affordable. Because if you didn't want to play ball with, you know, the government's POS plan, well, then now you can go find something else privately that makes a much better product. That's
But that's the problem, though. We don't have 5 different lines of. Let's take the analogy that you used. If you've got 6 or 7 people that are providing a service, you have options. Options create competition, as you said.
But that's again, that's an industry problem.
Yes,
that's an industry problem, I think.
I think that's exactly that in a nutshell, because there isn't any other options. There just isn't any options. The only thing that if you wanted to start a new series, the only options you could go around to make it work would be go to a track that has nothing to lose. Now, maybe they've already tried to host an event. Maybe they had an outdoor national and they don't. Glen Helen, which we're using tonight. How many of those exist? I don't know. We don't have the specific numbers on those. But there is absolutely no way that a track is going to take a risk on something new if it means losing something that's well established. It's the only choice they have, period.
Rob, Travis, Justin, I mean, you guys, you all let us know what you guys think about it. But then this is where, okay, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Why not? Let's go talk to the other tracks that used to have a national or something. We don't have to go after the tracks that are currently
we're about to lose another one on the West Coast right now.
You know.
But how many venues? How many venues would that allow you? How many venues would that allot you? I don't know. And I'm not being sarcastic or combative. That's the part that's scary, because when you look at the number of tracks that are out there, that if you were a race promoter that you'd want to take a race to, it's going to be preoccupied with an area, a regional, or an outdoor national.
Well, just look at it locally. Like, I remember in the 90s, just locally, tracks were doing better, and, you know, you had a series or whatever, and you could go to a bunch of different tracks. But nowadays, it seems like one track has their own series. They're not part of their own club. They'd rather just be their own entity and have, you know, a winter combat or like a summer series or a night series where you do 4 or 5 races just at one track locally.
Yeah.
You know, why is it that is changing? Because again, it's all the small stuff that adds up to the big stuff.
Well,
hey guys, the thing that's been able to make this monopolized is the manufacturers. So wherever the manufacturers decide is the actual national championship is where they're going to spend their money. That's how it's been able to manipulate it. MX Sports has got with these manufacturers and got them to agree that series under the AMA logo is the series. To do something different, you have to go to them, because people want to see Eli Tomac. They want to see Dylan Ferrandis. They want to see those guys. You can have a race with other people, but it just won't draw. It doesn't have the prestige.
Well, let me play devil's advocate. I was talking.
See, I have to say, you sound way better, dude. I'm like, I don't know, that Tacoma. You need to like change that speaker in your Tacoma, because it sounds like shit.
Shut up, Johnny.
God, I love Johnny so much. I love this dude so much.
I think the squirrel just had an orgasm, is what happened.
I think so too. Like,
as like a fucking whale or something.
So,
dude, that squirrel has got a shit ton of nuts.
So I was talking to Kevin earlier. Okay, look at the PGA. I'm not a golfer. It takes a lot of balls to play golf the way I do. So think about this. How many PGA tournaments are there in a year? Does anybody know? I'm not a golfer.
I don't.
Google it. Google it.
I would
How-
assume probably like 50.
Okay, so
Can somebody over there Google how many PGA golf tournaments there are?
in 1 year.
I'm Googling.
1 year.
All right, so find out
How
how
do you
many.
spell PGA, guys?
Fucking Johnny.
God dang it, Johnny.
All right, so here's where I'm going with it. I was talking to Kevin about it earlier. The Augusta golf tournament, one golf tournament, has an $11 million prize purse. It's a 50-person cutoff.
20 to 30 tournaments a
God,
year.
I was
All right,
way off.
So let's go on the low side. 20 tournaments. Augusta's prize purse is $11
Johnny
million.
Googling it too.
Okay. The 50th place guy, the last place guy, makes over $50,000 getting last.
Michael Kitzmiller.
That's like 70.
So if you stop and think about it, you've got a quote unquote 20 events that are competing for the same sponsorship dollars, the same players, the same everything, who can pay their 50th place finisher $50,000 plus dollars. The first place for one game, one weekend, whatever the
Coach,
heck.
I'm not trying to like bust your boner. I'm just saying it's golf though. Like there's
No.
so many more people involved in golf than there is.
I understand.
motorcycle
I
racing.
understand that all the time. But then why does NASCAR and why does something? I don't own a NASCAR. You don't own a NASCAR, but NASCAR is doing quite well.
You don't own a Toyota Camry?
I do not.
Really? Because
No.
everybody apparently can buy those. They last forever.
Absolutely. I'm a Honda guy.
Oh,
I'm a Honda
one
Civic
car.
guy.
Oh wait, those are probably coming soon. Who knows?
So, but think about what Johnny's saying, because I hear this explanation quite often. Well, the reason why PGA can have an $11 million purse is because everybody can play golf. Well, I don't know about you. I've never owned a NASCAR, but NASCAR still has race teams. I don't own a Formula One race car, but there's Formula One race cars that are with some big budget teams. I don't own a Formula One racetrack, but the racetracks are filled with people. No disrespect to you, Johnny, but this bullshit excuse that, well, everybody plays golf, that's why they have so much money. No, it is about the way that the sport is managed, the way it's marketed, and the way they reinvest. Kevin Morantz is the show. Without Kevin, there is no show. So why don't you stop and start putting some investment dollars in the guy that puts his life on the line? Johnny, you talk about this in every one of your shows. The PGA invests in their players, and because of the players, every single player is walking around with a Titleist cap on that pay. You know, we have energy drink helmets, $25, $50, $100,000 to be a Monster Red Bull rider. Well, you've got, I don't know how many guys tried to make the cut, and they're walking around with Titleist on their hat for $100,000, Nike. I call it Izide. I think now they call it Le Carret or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so think about it. You've got individual players with 3 or 4 sponsors to the tune of $500,000 a year, almost what Kevin makes on Patreon, and
Going up.
you reverse engineer this. You have 50 plus players that make the cut. Each of them have 2 or 3 sponsors, and they're fighting for an $11 million purse that the last place guy gets $50,000 for. Are we going to give props to the fact that there's a lot of golfer pros? Or are we going to give props to the PGA who said, you know what?
PGA.
The only way we can make money is if we have personality. I'm not trying to be a man friend here. Kevin's got great personality. He presents himself well.
Yeah, he does.
That
But
sounded weird.
but you've got the PGA. I don't know
I
about
wouldn't
you.
know he doesn't have a mic.
I've never met Tiger Woods, but I know his wife
Give that
beat.
man a mic.
We are on a budget, all right, assholes.
Kev will be on here at some point, just not during this
Bitcoin's not
conversation.
sponsoring us, okay?
But think about it. We know that Tiger
That
Woods.
sponsor read was like 30 minutes.
That's because no one would shut up.
I know you got trailers and shit. You can fit a lot of shit in a
Right?
trailer.
Jesus.
But
Maybe
think
stop buying trailers and get a mic.
Oh my
Hey.
god.
guys, listen.
I'm quitting.
Listen.
I'm just gonna go sit and drink with the peanut gallery over there.
Why?
Well,
did-
it sounds like the riders need a union. If the riders don't like how it's working, they have a voice, because you're absolutely right. If there is no show, there's no riders, there is no show. Nobody's going to pay for Johnny Hopper to show up and finish top 3 because there was, 2 people racing. Like, nobody's going to watch that race.
But
That's just
I would.
plain and simple. So,
but you got to take it. You got to take it further. You have the PGA that has an $11 million pro purse for one race, but yet it was on the 6 o'clock news that Tiger Woods' wife beat the back of his car in with an iron because she found out he's nailing everything that's moving. Okay, what do you know about Kevin Morantz? You know what I mean? My point.
I don't know. Does he got a chick beating on him with a golf club?
Listen, guys. The PG.
I don't know, 14th at Hangtown,
Coach,
16th at
I know
Fox
right where
Raceway,
you're going
19th
with
at
this.
Ironman.
But the
I know
P-
a lot of shit about this.
But
kid.
the PGA. The
Best
PGA.
finish 14th. This guy's a badass motherfucker right here. Give him
Shut up, Johnny. Let Coach talk.
Dude, I don't know what Johnny took before we started this, but holy crap. Coach, please finish your thing here, because holy crap. This is
But
It was the first thing on your sponsor list.
But you think about it.
Oh,
the
Johnny.
PGA has made Tiger Woods a household name. And these top golfers are a household name, not because they're on social media. You've got Kevin Morantz, who's working his ass off to get people to follow him on social media because he's cool, he does good stuff, he's got a good media partner. That's all cool. The difference is not everybody can hire a clutch, right? So now all of a sudden you're out working your ass off, but you've got PGA that makes Tiger Woods a household name, which then makes Buick want to put money on Tiger Woods, and then they build a commercial around him that they spend money during the PGA show promoting Tiger Woods, and Tiger Woods walks down with a Buick on his golf club bag. Shows you how much I know golf, right? Mm-hmm. He's got Buick on his
golf club bag.
on his
like
golf
this.
bag, but there's a commercial around
Rob,
Tiger.
you're gonna like
Well,
this.
But it's not.
Golf was in trouble. Golf was way down. There was not the money in golf there is now until Tiger Woods, and they changed the model.
But the problem is PGA created what we know about Tiger Woods. No disrespect to anybody, but I don't see anybody except Kevin Morantz spending his own time, his own money, his own energy. And I'm not saying, hey, I don't need anybody to blow my brand up. But if Kevin Morantz is out there getting 10,000 people excited about watching the National, I'm sorry. Kevin is what's bringing the value to the TV show that the promoters make the money, TV revenue, gate ticket sales, etc., etc. But Kevin can't sell his own T-shirts. Kevin can't have GoPro video. He can't own the video that he can go and get to Clutch, that they can go and create a killer weekend video recap. This is so upside
Coach,
down
so
and backwards.
Google
It's
answered
insane.
this question in 6.7 seconds.
Okay. What was the?
Google says, why is golf so popular? It's because people choose golf because it offers an excellent overall package.
I disagree.
There you have it. So we need to change our
Johnny, get off the
overall
computer.
package.
I disagree. The reason why the
Johnny,
PGA
you're
does a
banned.
kick-ass
No more Google
job.
for you.
The reason why PGA does a kick-ass job is because if I own a corporation and I can go ahead and I can get a corporate booth, and afterwards I get to hang around with Kevin Morantz and I get to hang around with Scott Meshy. If I can take my corporate dollars and I can bring Kevin Morantz and Meshy in, my number one client doesn't give a rat's ass if Kevin can clear the uphill triple on a 250 or not. I know he's running 450. Just go with me on example. Okay, so the big thing to take a look at is corporate entertainment is what I need. But I don't see MX Sports giving me an opportunity to be able to entertain. So after the race, I can bring Kevin and Meshy in so that I can get Kevin to rub elbows with my number one client that brings in $10 million a year in retail sales. I don't mind spending 10 grand on a booth at an event because you're going to bring in Kevin Morantz who can rub elbows with the guys afterwards because he can say more than, and right. This is what I have a problem with. If I'm PGA,
Coach.
I'm able to sell the 18th hole with all these people underneath an awning, and I'm selling the living daylights out of that because of Tiger Woods and all the other guys.
Because it's easier to sell.
Why is it easier to sell?
It's easier to sell.
Why is it easier to sell? Because Tiger Woods is a household name that the PGA. Hey, I don't like NASCAR, but I can tell you who Dale Earnhardt is Jr. But I don't own a NASCAR. I've never even bought a NASCAR ticket, but I know who Dale Earnhardt is. You see where we're going with this?
I've never driven a Formula One car, but I love Formula One.
And why do we like Formula One? Because of
I think it's
Netflix.
just easier
Because of personality.
Yes, exactly. Daniel Ricciardo is a badass.
But you only say that.
Yeah, they're in America this weekend. Yeah,
People like button-up shirts and khakis, and it's a rich man's sport. Therefore, companies are going to want to invest in something that looks bougie. Where
Johnny,
is motorcycle racing?
They weren't until they started telling the stories and allowing the personalities like Tiger Woods to come through. Because golf was in real trouble before Tiger Woods.
And that's why everybody loves Jet Lawrence.
And that's why Lucas Myrtle
All
is the
right,
best
so-
agent in the business.
Yes.
Because he's creating a personality around Hunter and Lawrence and Joe Shimoda. It's not listen, Hunter and Jet got the Red Bull deal not because MX Sports is out there making Hunter and Jet who they are. Lucas Myrtle is out there taking both of them to baseball games, is taking and exposing them. They were on the Today Show. Who was responsible for the Today Show? Lucas Myrtle, not MX Sports. PGA went out and made the pros the personalities and then gave them a platform. Like I said, we're sitting here talking about Tiger Woods' wife smashing the back of it. All right, so, one of our motocross. Hey, golly, why am I drawing a blank to make? Lawrence, right? The troublemaker Lawrence. Jason Lawrence. Thank you. Did we hear about Jay? I don't know why I had a mental fart there.
That's all right.
It's because he's been out of the sport for a while.
But
Dude, could you imagine him in 2021 with
He'd
social
get canceled.
media right
He'd
now?
get canceled.
That dude would be, besides maybe being canceled,
Johnny-
but he would be on fire.
But Johnny, Tiger Woods became popular when there was no social media. Jason Lawrence, would we see on the
but that's what this is where I'm.
Would we see on the 6 o'clock news? Would we have seen that J Law? Would we have seen J Law taking a rental car and flipping it down the middle of the racetrack? Would that have made 6 o'clock news?
God, hopefully.
No, him and RV though getting into it at Hangtown.
That wouldn't have made the 6 o'clock news. But Tiger Woods and Chris DeMarco, I went to high school with DeMarco. That's why it means something to me. DeMarco.
Did you hear about Alec Baldwin shooting somebody on his
Yeah,
set?
Alec Baldwin killed someone on set.
Yeah. But
what?
But what is it that makes Alan Baldwin or whoever the hell you're talking about? What makes that even newsworthy? The industry makes people who they are. Tom Cruise, any other actress or actor, it's the industry that makes these people who they are. What is our industry doing? And I'm saying Kevin because I have a man crush on him after watching him ride all day today. What is the industry doing to make Kevin a household name? Because you just mentioned it, Netflix makes. I now know a few names in Formula One that 2 months ago I wouldn't have known. Michaela and I sat there and watched, and I'm like, this is pretty badass. They're talking about sponsors. They're interviewing the team owners. They're making the drivers tangible. I want to see if that dude can win this weekend.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah,
Lewis
we
Hamilton,
need some
Max
more of like the
Verstappen.
great outdoors kind of getting out there.
But
Social media, YouTube, TikTok, all that shit, that's what's going to
Speaking of
grow
that,
the sport.
isn't
I mean,
Joy
look at the guys like
tried
Jeff
making another
Walker
thing
that
with Jaleel Swole?
unfortunately have a hard time making top 20 and like you've got
30.
Kevin who's can make top 10. So it's social media. Like,
All right.
look at what happened to little Deegan. Deegan is a dude that he could pick whatever team he wanted to because of the platform. He's got everyone begging him to ride for his team because of the following that he has. Because popularity, maybe it doesn't have to do so much with money. It's got to do with your reach. And social media is how we're doing, how you could grow the reach for people. Like, I'm pretty sure that little Hayden Deegan has gotten more people into riding than potentially some of the top pros because they watch this little kid on a daily basis. And so he's got more of a following than, unfortunately, some of the guys that really deserve to be making more money at it. So
nope.
How
disagree.
are you going to grow the sport? You're going to grow the sport by just unleashing the social media. Let's let these guys be them. Let's stop trying to, like, the one thing I hate about motorcycle racing in general is everybody's asking for money. So nobody is being really real because quite honestly, all of the dudes, they're gladiators, they're badass dudes. What happens in the pits is what's entertaining. All right, it's a reality show 24/7 because somebody brake checked somebody turned off somebody's pet cock, somebody slept with their girlfriend, somebody did something kind of, shitty. And nobody hears about any of that stuff, but all you hear is on the podium, it's the same damn speech. Thank you, Toyota Vesconvito, for giving me a truck, and cool, my truck driver drove this semi down here. Sweet. I hope I can ride better the next weekend. Like, that's annoying. Let's everyone needs to be more real, and we've got more people starting to be real, like less businessy, because there's something that social media is changing the way everyone does business, is people are being less serious about stuff. And that's honestly good. Like, people are texting with emojis to their realtor and all sorts of stuff, which never used to happen before. And for motorcycle racing to grow up and have more sponsors, unfortunately, society needs to take it back a notch. That, hey, this doesn't need to be as professional as it needs to be. Like, look at Stank Dong with him smoking weed and everything. Like, that is a
TV timeout. TV timeout, Coach. Go for it.
So you look at something like Netflix. Okay, this whole idea that social media is a powerhouse is bullshit. Because if you look at social media does nothing more than engage with people who are already following you. We've been sitting here talking about, what does the sport need? It needs new money. You're not going to continue to get new money from the same pot. What did Netflix do? They created a special around Formula One. 99% of the Americans didn't know anything about it. Now we know who Hamilton is. So the idea that we want to get new eyeballs in the sport, why in the hell do we keep going back? The same million people that are following Deegan are Deegan fans. That's awesome. Good for Deegan. That's great. It doesn't fucking grow the sport. It doesn't grow money for Marantz. It doesn't grow money for anybody. Social media just reinforces the people who already know who you are. If we want to get a target...
I disagree.
If you want to get... All right. So how come Home Depot and Lowe's and Target have not joined the sport? Because Deegan has 1 million followers. But yet we're sitting here talking about Netflix. A year ago, I didn't know who Hamilton was, but yet I'm watching it because it's on Netflix. So if I'm not a moto dude, I'm not a Formula One dude.
Okay.
But I now know who Formula One is. So if I'm going to surprise my son for Christmas, I'm going to get him a Hamilton Mercedes-Benz merchandise, which he's going to get a royalty fee from.
Rob, so you're saying we need a motocross show or a supercross show on Netflix?
And why can't we get it?
I'm getting with you.
No, I totally agree with you, Johnny. Why can't we get...
Because Netflix as a business, they're going to look and they're going to say, hey, we're not going to... The numbers aren't quite there. They have to sell it in some way to make it look good for their bottom line.
Disagree.
Disagree.
Who's going to film motocross that's not already eating out of the hands of MX Sports?
Yeah, because Troy's the only one that I could think of.
That's exactly it. And what does
He's trying to sell that Jalik video to him right now, isn't he?
But what does he do? He does Red Bull Series. He does all that. Eating out of the hands of the same small pot. You have Clutch Media that's trying to grow it. You have Clutch Media that's trying to do something different. If Clutch Media can get access to these guys, oh, that's right, Kevin's videos can't be used by Clutch to go to Netflix to try to sell the idea, because the media people, because you need somebody like a Clutch who has race experience, who understands that cool view. I'm watching Clutch today. He's down on his knees. He's looking at the bike. He's talking to Kevin. He's doing cool stuff. Okay. No, I'm serious, guys.
I'm glad we're not the only one who was laughing. I understand what you're saying. I totally understand
if you look at him,
you see a squirrel down there?
He's down there trying to get, because he knows that's what we're going to think is a cool angle.
Don't fuck with those black squirrels, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, Kevin, don't fuck with the black squirrels.
George, go ahead.
So now all of a sudden you have somebody like a Clutch.
Oh, no.
That,
I'm not part of that.
But wait a second.
There's just a mountain bike story in there where I got attacked by a black squirrel. So that's.
But wait a second.
Go for it, Coach.
Now all of a sudden you have Clutch that doesn't play the right political games, who can't get the access to the pits. He can't get any of Kevin's documentation because that belongs to the promoter. but yet he's trying to build together a package to go sell it to Netflix to get it to the next level. But we can't do that because it belongs to the promoter and must be pre-approved. There isn't a. Why did Geico Honda lose Geico to the series? And I will sit here and have an argument with anybody. Geico Honda left because they got poached by the series. Now, Davey declares over and over again that didn't happen. But if all of a sudden Clutch is like, hey, can I get that video so that I can put something together for Netflix? You don't think that that's going to raise a red flag? Well, sure, if we get a percentage of it. Well, now Clutch's pie just gets cut up 1,200 different ways, but nobody's funding him trying to go out and drive it to Netflix to make it big enough so that we can now start a PGA, a F1, a MotoGP. I don't know what did Rossi make his last year?
Oh shit! I don't have any idea.
Not as much as Kevin's Patreon. We know that.
No, that's just huge.
But
Google.
How much? Yeah, how much did Rossi
Google.
make last year? Google boy, go.
I know it was a good salary.
Hey Johnny, can you buy a keyboard that's a little louder when you type on
Yes,
it for
please.
next show, please?
Well, dude, it lights up special colors. It makes me feel important.
You're one of-
I was about to say, do you need those colors?
I'm
to know
sure,
which part of
I'm
the
sure we
keyboard
can
you're
get
using?
one that lights up that doesn't make noise.
I
when you
love
type on
Johnny's
it.
honesty. It makes me feel important.
Yeah.
But the thing about Netflix too is like when they did the F1 thing, because I'm a big Formula One geek and I did a lot of research on it. They don't play that game.
His base salary was $10 million from.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Was he not on Yamaha this year?
and Rossi's been getting his ass kicked for a while.
I don't know. I thought it was on Yamaha.
Rossi making $10 million.
And Netflix, but the thing is, Netflix doesn't play that game.
That's just salary.
Because there was a lot of things that they wanted. Like they told everybody up front, like, "Hey, we're going to put this in the documentary, whether you guys like it or not." And they're like, "Well, and they're like, no, fuck that. Like, we're going to put it in there, and you're going to deal with it."
Dude,
'cause we're
Netflix can sell whatever they want to. They freaking sold Squid Game that was dubbed
Jesus.
in English, where I had to listen to, like.
Dude, that was awesome, Johnny. Shut your mouth.
Dude,
Oh God, here we go.
it took me forever to watch it because they was saying it was #1 in there. And granted, Squid Game had 111 viewers. It's made over $1 billion. It only cost $21 million to produce, and I'm happy about it because Netflix PE ratio went up, and their earnings were good. However, I'm pissed off because now on my Netflix, I'm going to start seeing more stuff that's dubbed in English because they've proven to everybody that they can sell. They can hire local actors, and then they can just dub it in English, and us Americans will watch it still.
But we're missing the point.
Anyway,
we're missing the
digression.
point. How was Netflix and whoever the producer was, let's call it Clutch Films, how was the producer able to get into the teams? How were they able to get into the paddock of F1? Because F1 allowed them to come in. And Justin has said over and over again, I don't know what the F1 levels are, below
It's
it.
like Formula 2 or Formula 3, then Formula 2, then Formula 1.
So you've got an infrastructure. That's a novel idea.
That's so
and now
weird, right?
all of a sudden
God,
you've got a
Jesus.
development program, which now Kevin on a 125 becomes more of a household name. You follow him to the level 2 or I don't know, would you say 3, 2, 1 up?
Yeah, I mean, it's basic, but yeah, pretty much.
But you find out who they are. They get a following earlier.
Yep.
But what happened? They, being F1, had to allow them into F3, F2, F1.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting here talking about Mercedes, McLaren, and all that, right? Listen to me. I don't own a McLaren. I don't own a Mercedes.
I don't know a fucking Ferrari.
Right? But yet we're talking about
Aston
it.
Martin.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys know who Michael Schumacher was? Maybe, kind of, sort
I'm
of.
watching the documentary
His
on
documentary
Netflix
is
right now.
fucking amazing.
And how
It's
many
amazing,
Ferraris
yeah.
do you have?
Zero.
I wish I had
That
30.
was a good documentary, but they missed a bunch of stuff. All right, let me ask you this then. If we're on the whole Netflix, does anybody follow Formula One race to race, or
I
do
do.
they just wait for the series to be over with so that Driven to Survive Season 4 comes out so that you can see it all and binge watch it just in
Johnny,
No, I
a few
literally
hours?
watch. I don't watch all the qualifying. I'm not in Formula
Oh, I
One
do.
like I am Moto. I'm in Formula One as a fan, so I'm watching the races.
And
on
how
the
many
weekends
Formula
they're
One
on.
cars do you own, and how many racetracks do you own? And how many racetracks are around you?
Look, I'll prove your point right here. I didn't give a flying fiduzzle about Formula One until Drive to Survive came
Well,
out.
Travis can even attest to this. When we were down in Ironman getting ready to go to the National on Saturday at like 5 in the morning or whatever it was, I was watching the session 3 qualifying or practice.
Yeah, we were in the
at
hotel
5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Watching practice, the session 3 practice, which is on the same day as qualifying.
And who did you want to see qualify well?
I wanted to see Daniel Ricciardo. I wanted to see Sebastian Vettel. I wanted to see Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, all those dudes.
All right. So 4 guys right off the top
But
of his tongue.
because-
4 guys off the tip of his tongue. He's never stepped in a Formula One car and doesn't own a Formula One track. And we're talking about Tiger Woods and Chris DeMarco. And I've never played a PGA game in my life because the promoters know how to promote the guys that make the money. They know where the emphasis is at.
Yep.
And this guy, because of TV, can get better sponsors. Every PGA guy's got 3 or 4 sponsors to the tune of $250,000.
Yep.
The 50th place guy makes $52,000. What part of this model am I missing?
Is it just a simple problem that we can't get cameras inside? The pits?
That's quite
the problem?
huge because
Is
it
what I'm
starts with GoPro footage that Kevin can't capture and give it to Clutch because he freaking takes a privateer bike and is the fastest privateer. But we can't talk about it because
Whole shot's the race, mind you, in front of all the factory guys
But
on his privateer.
Takes
stock
out Austin
450.
Fortner.
But he can't get any coverage of that without the permission of the promoters.
No, you're wrong. He can. When he catches something on camera that they don't, i.e. Indy Supercross, Jet wads it in the whoops in practice right in front of his GoPro.
Yep.
He takes that GoPro footage. He posts it on his private Instagram. He posted on his public Instagram, and surprise, surprise, Supercross Live then repost it on their public Instagram, and then boom, the whole thing goes fucking viral.
But
How many million views did you get off that?
And how much did you get?
300,000
And
for
how much
anybody.
did you get compensated for it? 0.
Zilch.
Wait, hold on. Did Feld call you to make sure it was okay that they used that video? Exactly.
And that's a
But
no.
yet, if Kevin doesn't follow the rules,
If he were to put up his main event video, full main event, 15-minute helmet cam video from that night,
He can't race
would
next
get
weekend.
Zapped. We would be
oh,
in the
he-
AMA truck.
he can't race next weekend.
Everything. Yeah,
He
he's
just
done.
can't race.
He cannot work.
because I saw the verbiage that said essentially they put the iron hand down and say, we are the judge, we are the jury, and we are the executor.
Well, prime example of this, okay? You go to outdoors. So this year for outdoors.
I don't mean to interrupt you. And now he lives in a world of fear and intimidation because he only makes money on the $375 he gets by winning the main event next weekend.
Yep.
Go ahead, excuse me.
But prime example of this too,
100 grand
as long as
Patreon,
we're
though.
talking about getting the cameras into places
Exactly.
where we can't. Okay, so you have MX Sports this year. What do they come out with? This, what the fuck was it even called? The Friends Pass or something?
Yeah.
That's the
which was
stupidest name ever, by the
basically
way.
that you could get a media pass that meant you could go pay for your own ticket, stand outside the fence like a normal fan, and take video. And then when they didn't like what you said in your video, they could take it down and own your whole entire channel on YouTube or Instagram or whatever the hell you're doing.
But what Johnny said though is that's just the way it is.
Yeah, well, they can go
Because
fuck
it's
themselves.
because we keep letting it happen.
Okay.
But we can't forget Johnny
Yeah.
has lived.
Here.
Johnny has
Respectfully, I'm out of timeout. I'm out of timeout.
Johnny has lived the nightmare. So when Johnny gives his opinion, this is a dude that's been there and done that. So like Johnny's saying, well, what options do we have?
Yeah, in the very back alleys of shit that nobody wants to go to. So,
Hey, man, but Eli Tomac
I don't have
got
near
his parts
the
taken away.
experience as somebody like Kevin Moran's. Respectfully, this is where I'm saying as it's an industry problem. If you don't like how the industry is done, it's up to you to not spend your dollars in the industry. But it's sad because, like we've been talking about, we've been bitching a lot about a lot of the problems that are going on, and it's monopolized. There's only one group in town, so you don't have the ability to spend your dollars somewhere else, because if you want to participate, you have to play by their rules. That's the problem I see here. The solution is somebody else has to have their own series. May it not be 17 races. Like, for the God of me, I don't understand how everyone thinks that these guys are just such superhumans that they can fucking every weekend race their ass off and then have 2 weekends off and after 24 motos, then go do 17 supercross races. Like it's ridiculous how much you try to do. But if these guys were able to choose between, hey, I'm going to go do the West Coast series because there's a real good purse there, and I'm going to get more media following, etc. there, and it's only going to be 6 races, I can make that happen, as opposed to committing to a whole 17 series race or series. It's just, there needs to be options, and unfortunately there are no options. So the real problem is, how do you create another series? How do you
go to Canada,
build it enough to where
there's some guys, privateers, man.
That's the real problem here, as opposed to trying to change
or GPs
this current infrastructure. It's, if you don't agree with the current infrastructure, go spend your money somewhere else.
Kinda.
Well, but take it a step.
But there's nowhere else to spend your money.
Well, take it a step further, though. If Kevin and every privateer, let's just say that's 85% of the field, because we have about 9 to 10 factory bikes, just absolutely refuses not to race, you don't think that's going to get the... And I know
never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. That's my point. Why? Because Kevin has to make a living doing something that he spent the first 15 years of his life doing. So you need somebody to come in, and I know this is I've seen it in triathlon, so don't tell me it's not possible, because I've seen it. In the PTO, Professional Triathlon Organization, there was an investor that came in and pays the top X amount of triathletes. Every month you get a paycheck based on your world rankings. So if Kevin decides, as ranked number 17 in the world, he decides that he's not going to go race, but he's still getting a paycheck so he can pay his freaking bills, right? We tend to forget these guys have a life. They're trying to make a living like the rest of us. But yet Kevin's not making money. He's paying to be a show for somebody else.
Only thing in the world.
It's the only fucking pardon my language.
The
it's
riders are living off of food stamps.
Only thing in the world where the show is paying to go.
Okay, let's use the government and food stamps. All right, so they tax us and they give it to the people that sit around and do shit. Well, what are we doing for somebody like a Kevin who's working his ass off, and yet he can't make a stand against the promoters?
We assume that he's making the money.
He's not making the money.
Because people are stupid.
He's making money because he's investing.
I know, you and I know that he's making the money.
But the industry doesn't care.
No one else knows that he's not making the money.
No, the whole industry knows he's not making money, but because Kevin's willing to take the hit on the chin and work his ass off and reinvest in himself to create himself a brand, unlike what the PGA does in the Formula One and MotoGP does for their teams and riders. Again, I'm not into redistribution of wealth. I'm talking about looking at successful models and going, why don't we duplicate them? Oh, we can't do that because that would mean we might have to share TV revenue. Now you take somebody like the PTO. If Kevin makes a stand and doesn't go to the toes the line, and by the way, if you're a promoter, Kevin doesn't have a dog in this fight. I just saw him ride today, so that's why he's on the top of my mind. He's not in studio. Doesn't matter. All right, so don't take it out on somebody who's innocent in this. We're just using him as an example. He's a friend of the show. So please. My point is, if he and all the top privateers go out and they make a stand, how's he going to pay himself? How's he going to feed himself? How's he going to continue to live? So the promoters, that's the only way that you can cut the faucet off, is those guys just absolutely don't show up and race. That sounds really novel, right? We're going to make a stand. Well, who's going to pay his bills?
Kev, how much you making a race weekend?
He's not going to say that.
Oh, you mean how much he loses? No. How much do you lose after expenses?
Paid by OnlyFans, for sure.
Minus your OnlyFans money.
Minus your OnlyFans
Plus
money.
Patreon.
How much do you lose in a weekend?
Kev, you don't have to say anything.
Huh?
Is Kev gonna? All right.
Kev's
We're actually gonna.
jumping in.
Kev is actually gonna walk over here and say something. All right, he's about to go.
Only thing I'm gonna say, and this is not talking crap on anything. I'm just giving you the real numbers,
Disclaimer,
right?
Yeah.
everyone.
So, for everything that I've done over the year or whatever, to come out and have one of the best rides, at least of my career thus far,
Yes.
and get 7th place in a main event, walked away with $950.
After expenses.
That is.
No, that's before expenses.
After expenses, how much did you
I mean, you got to think an entry fee alone is $250 just to be on the.
700. Keep going.
and hotels, flights, parts. I mean, you're getting rid of 900 real quick.
So to have all these privateers sit out one round, we need like 10 grand.
It's also, a certain. We know somebody that got an 11th.
Can we write a check for
A
this?
Unadilla that got $500.
If I give Kevin $1,
Kevin, honest question. So why do you do it?
Johnny, hold on a second. Kev can't hear you. We don't have.
if I give Kevin $1, he's made more
God damn
money.
it! Why can't he hear me? He was giving us.
Travis, do you want to
We
give
got
him your
trailers
headset
but
for a
no
second,
mics.
or do you?
Travis,
Johnny, wanna give, hold on a second,
Kev,
Johnny.
come
We're
back
trying to
here
get
for a
Kev on here.
Johnny Hopper's trying to. Johnny's trying to
Hopper
talk to you.
Yeah, he has a question for you, Kev. Hold on, Johnny. We got him coming on. Hold on. You made enough of a stink. We got him coming on. All right, he's got the headset on now. You can ask him a question.
He can hear you now. Go ahead, Johnny.
Kevin, so honest, what keeps you doing it? Why are
So-
you doing it? Because it's obviously.
Before I say anything, I mean, obviously, topics you guys have been talking about, it doesn't bother me. Like, at this point, I've been doing this for a large majority of my life. I absolutely love it, and I love kind of being the creative privateer that's finding new ways to pay for his program, right? I enjoy the business side of things. That being said, money's not really the biggest thing to me right now. Obviously, the goal is to be on a factory team, get a factory ride, like whatever I need to do to sacrifice. It is what it is. Is it unfortunate that you can't make a whole lot besides, getting creative the way I do? Yeah, absolutely. But no, I mean, the biggest reason why I continue is just because I love doing it, I guess is the best way to put it.
Kevin, do you get tired of asking people for money because you're a professional athlete and you're one of the best riders in the United States of America? We have 350 million people in this country, and you're in the top 1% of any motorcycle racer in the world, and you're sitting here having to ask people for money.
That depends. Does Johnny have
In order to continue to
sponsor Kevin Moran's or what?
Yeah, it's never fun. You know what I mean?
I can definitely.
So a little background on me is, and I'll just make this real long story short, is ever since I graduated high school, because I went through public high school, didn't get to get ripped out or get homeschool, which, I mean, as a kid in the racing industry, yeah, I would have loved it, but absolutely the best thing for me was to stay in high school, and that's where I have my personality from, is just from, experiencing social situations. And so, like, the biggest thing I could say is, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lost where we're going with it.
Just in regards to, do you get tired of begging for money?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's never fun, dude. But, coming from where I came from, okay, that's where I was getting at with that, is I had to work for everything that I had. So as soon as I graduated high school, that's when I started taking things seriously. Neither of my parents own their own business and everything. They absolutely love me, support me to death. They still have a roof over my head because that's where I live, because obviously I bounce around so much, I don't have my own place. But they don't have the financial opportunities, I guess best way to put it, to fund my racing. So ever since 17 years old, I've had to get creative. That's why, creating the whole Patreon and everything like that, and all the sponsorship opportunities, and that's why I'm good at marketing and whatnot, is because I had to if I wanted to race. So straight up, yeah, it's not fun, but it's just kind of a part of my life at this point. So it's second nature to me.
Just unfortunate because it shouldn't have to be.
Yeah.
My follow-up question is, Kevin, how old are you? How old are you, dear?
Just turned 22.
You just call him dear?
Yeah, I thought he did.
Just
how
turned
that is.
22.
Yeah, in August.
You can't do this forever.
No.
Okay, I'm being completely candid here.
Yep.
And if you need to not say, it's totally okay, dude.
Yeah.
What is your end game? What is your end game? Is the end game like, at some point this is going to work out? Because, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, everything that you've done, you're going to be successful, because if you transition your skills from what you've done racing motorcycles into anything else in life, you don't have to go to college. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
My own thing is, what I hate about this sport is you've got these guys that are go-get badass motherfuckers that eventually something bad happens to them because this is too damn dangerous, and they've got no money, no help, nothing else, because they've spent their entire lives chasing something that has not been giving them the reward versus the risk that they have. And that's the biggest problem I have with this sport is you've got, again, kids like you that are such talented individuals, not just on a motorcycle, but business sense. In a roundabout way, I'm saying this in a shitty kind of back way of sometimes almost wasting their time racing motorcycles because they would be much more successful doing something else. So my question is, what is your end game from racing?
So pretty much the way I have
Sorry,
it,
that was
no, you're
hard.
good. No, you're good. Pretty much the way I'm setting up my program is mainly goals based, I guess is the best way to put it. So I've always had the dream of being a true factory rider and fighting for championship, right? So I could give a rat's ass about the money, to be really honest. Obviously, it's a good thing, and it's clearly on my mind because that's what's going to set me up for the future. But money's not my driver right now. So it's purely goal-based, and I just absolutely love what I do and really enjoy it. That's why I put so much time into it. The social media side of things helps me in my journey. But to be really honest, like my goal is to be able to put enough away and save as much as I can to eventually get into real estate and flipping houses and stuff, because that's really what I want to do after racing. So all the marketing and time and everything I'm putting into any extra sponsorship dollars or extra money I make out of racing is eventually going to go to hopefully real estate. But that's that's kind of the backup plan, or that's where I'm going to go after racing probably. So any winnings I can make, eventually hopefully get to the championship level and bonuses and stuff like that, it's going to go towards creating wealth later in life, I guess is the best way to put it.
Beautiful answer, dude. And forgive me for being such a sour fucking pussy over here. And dude, you have all the opportunity in front of you. So just keeping it WFO. And I'd like to help you some more this year. I can't promise the world, but I would definitely like to put a few dollars into your pocket. So when we're done with this,
no, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Seriously.
But
we'll contact his people.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Well, but Johnny, the thing that I like what you're saying, and you and I and Chris have talked about this off the record, what disgusts me is that we've got a 22-year-old kid that's okay not making money. And you've got young kids coming from third world countries that their only dream is to make it in baseball, football, soccer. Why? To get out of poverty, to move their family ahead. And we've got somebody that works his ass off, and the industry has beat him down enough to say, it's not about the money. It's about me hitting my personal objectives. That's great. I love that. You don't think he should get compensated when I've got a promoter that's selling TV time, advertisement, doing the stuff, filling up stadiums to come see him at the top of his game? That's what I have a problem with. Just like the 85 rider that texted and said, please don't talk about me. I don't want to get blackballed. I don't want to be known as somebody who complains.
Going more into it,
I want to say
Kevin,
something too. Yeah,
what got you into what got you into racing? Was it just pure like, hey, I want to become popular?
He saw Johnny Hopper racing it
because it turns off.
He saw Johnny Hopper racing at Thunder Valley.
That voice in my head.
Yeah, no, there's nothing specific. Like, there's no, I could care less about fame, could care less about clout on Instagram, stuff like that. Like, yes, that means a lot now because that's valuable for sponsors. I'm gonna be really honest, it is. Yeah, but like when I'm saying when I was young, that's not what I was thinking. It's important for sponsors.
Look,
right?
Kev's been working hard though for 2 hours. He's been working hard for 2 hours though. I have been watching him over there.
We're promoting for TLR Coatings right now, right?
Well,
And Clutch
dude,
Media.
I'm just asking you, like, where does the passion come from?
It just really
what
comes
keeps
from
you
trying to
grinding?
prove people
Because
wrong.
there's
If you want
so
me to be
much-
really honest.
Black squirrels.
So
actually.
it comes from just like
Those
having a love for
fucking
the sport,
squirrels.
watching the pro racers like Dungy and Carmichael and those guys when I was coming up and wanting to be like that. It's just like the kids that are fans now that get to watch us race. You know what I mean? So it's just
mean
just
your
the love of
fans?
the sport. I try.
You got fans, man.
I try.
Surprised you didn't ask for more autographs today. It's gonna happen tomorrow.
So one thing I wanted to say though is I heard you guys talk about earlier, which again I'm out of.
I was talking about being okay with not getting paid but still doing what you're doing?
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Let the superstar
is,
talk.
No, I was trying to get his.
I'm
I was trying to get
gonna
his.
take, I'm going to take me out of the equation, right? Because obviously, yeah, I'm doing a lot of things, the Patreon, all that stuff, cool. But like you guys threw out Jet Lawrence's name, right? And he's a big part of our sport right now when it comes to the personality and everything like that.
Stop.
But like, imagine if he could sell shirts at the event.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, I don't know why we aren't able to do that. Like that's.
Well, you do know why. You do know
Well,
why.
I do know why, but
Yeah.
I'm not in this conversation because I'm not trying to get on
Let's
anybody's bad
correct-
side.
Let's correct this statement. Jet does sell T-shirts.
Well, I mean,
at
all
the event.
online and everything like that, but you can't take cash at the event.
No.
Technically.
I specifically bought Jetson shirts out of the Red Bull tent.
Oh
at
yeah,
Iron
Red Bull
Man.
because the sponsors come in and get by
Bingo.
all these
but
problems.
Why does he get that and no one else does?
All right, but let's take it a step further. Look
Kevin,
at. Go ahead, Hopper.
this is the crypto in me. That's what's changing about cryptocurrencies. Because of the blockchain, you're going to be able to tip people on any sort of metaverse, whatever internet, whatever you want to do. You'll be able to tip and sponsor people, kind of like how Patreon and everything is. It's just a matter of time. Like, you know, Sealy has his own Sealy coin out there. Sorry, you probably can't see
I
my
saw
quotation marks around my head. But it's happening, dude, and that's where we're going to get a lot of sponsorship from people to people like you. Is if people were able to use their near field communication with their cell phones and go by your pit and just swipe, you know, hey, I'm giving a little bit extra to Kevin Moran's because I hope he does well. Like that's the future, and like I want you to jump on any form of anything that kind of happens like that. Same thing with Patreon, because that's going to help you with your racing.
I mean, you know, I wish we could do like a.
Okay,
meet and
go,
greet
Coach.
with
I
Kev.
finished.
No, all I was going to say is when you step back and you look at the idea that you've got Kevin who can't sell T-shirts, and he doesn't have an agent like Lucas that's out there getting his riders, Hunter and Jet, on the Today Show. This goes back to the same thing with Formula One with Netflix. You know, Kevin doesn't have the luxury of an agent that can open those doors. Lucas works for the Wasserman Group. They represent Ken Block, Travis Pastrana, Chad Reed at one time, RCH. Those are some pretty big phone calls. You don't think that Lucas isn't leveraging those relationships in a positive way? So now, all of a sudden, you've got... Go ahead.
Sorry, Rob. No, finish what you're saying.
No,
I'm
go for it,
horrible
bud. Go for it.
interrupting. It's unfortunate that Kevin can't sell his own tickets because he's got to pay MX Sports, Feld, whatever. They want the piece of the pie there. And this is where I have a problem with the fucking production rule, where the whole production rule was designed to try to get more people like Kevin, myself, or anybody. We'll use me as the wannabe example, but like anyone else, they want to just go buy a bike off the showroom floor and be able to race against the Eli Tomacs and the Ryan Dudgies and, you know, you name it. But at the same time, these are guys that have programs. They've got millions of dollars behind them. They're in their own class. They, regardless of what the production rule is, they are in their own class. So why don't we create another series where you have like the F1, where these guys this is the unlocked factory deal where you get all the cool pieces and parts and people get to innovate and help progress the sport because they're not stuck behind this stupid production rule where they have to have a certain number of bikes before they can even put a different foot peg or some shit on there, you know. And then you have these massive guys, talents like Kevin Moran's, racing like an F2 class that are essentially racing for a shot for the bigger premier class. But in that F2 class, they still have the pro purse, they still have the stuff. So where Kevin finishes 7th out of Supercross this year, he would actually have won the Supercross because the guys that beat him were actually the guys that were in the F1 class per se. Like it just, the whole thing kind of needs a revamping. And again, this is why I think that it would take another entity, get away from AMA and everything, to start your own little deal to grow it. And go Coach. I love
Johnny,
to
you're
hear
fine,
myself
man.
talk. You should hear me in the shower.
But here's the key. You've got to take it one step further. Kevin needs the option to be able to sell his merchandise. He doesn't have that option. That's taken off the cleaners. That's number one. The second side of the coin is, if Kevin is on a t-shirt with at least, this is in the contract, if Kevin, and when I say this is in the contract, this is the contract that the riders must sign. If Kevin is on a t-shirt with 2, the magical number is 3. If Kevin's on a t-shirt with 2 other riders, it's in the contract that MX Sports and Feld is not responsible for giving any royalty dollars to Kevin Morantz. When he signs that registration, when he signs that form, he gives away his right. All MX Sports has to do is put 3 people on an event t-shirt, and he is not going to get $1 of royalties because he signed a contract.
Eli was talking about this just earlier, like, what was it, a month ago?
And this is indefinitely. They can use Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, and Chavis Pastrana on a shirt this weekend and doesn't have to pay 1 dime to those 3 riders.
What you think about
the magical number is 3.
What you think about how many times Stu, Ricky, and Chad were all on t-shirts together?
And not 1 dime went to either of those 3 riders.
That is insane.
Kevin's mind's blown right now.
And yet,
you're welcome.
So you look at the tight relationship that Moto Tees has with MX Sports. You look at that clause that he signs, because there's 747 paragraphs that he's got to read through, and he's got 11 minutes to get ready for practice. He gives away his right to a royalty revenue as long as there's 3. Now, I don't know what legal ramifications are the catalyst behind that. All they've got to do, for as long as even after he's dead, if they put 3 riders on there, his family will never get a dime. And it slips through the cracks, and yet all of us are on a vendetta to try to do something detrimental to the sport, and all we want is a 22-year-old man that's driving people to the stands for us to see. Every single time Kevin went by today, how many people looked?
Oh, everybody was watching. Everybody.
Every time he went by. I'm not saying this to embarrass him, and I'm sure he's aware of it. He's on this side of the track, everyone's over here. He goes this side track, we walk over here. He's over here, he's on this side.
Oh.
And then when he got battling with somebody else, we were all just following him all the way around.
Look who we were with Iron Man. Freaking people come, hey, is that Kevin Morantz? Can we get his autograph? Can we get his autograph from the other side of the fence? Yeah.
And yet, so let's look at this at 10,000 feet. You're a race promoter, or excuse me, you're a track owner. You got to put up $100,000 up front. You got to give up a percentage of your revenue, of your merchandise fees, which go, again, like we said earlier, that expense goes out before the first person walks in. He can't get $1 of royalty with some little semantical game of 3 riders on the event t-shirt that they're selling. I don't know how many they sell.
A lot.
He doesn't get a single dime. The promoter gets, I don't hold me to it, I think it was an 80-20 split. And out of your 20%, it's got to come the announcer fee and the track and the track maintenance crew. And we're talking, there's not enough money. And yet, what did Chris say? How much money on average goes to the promoter? Not the track, the promoter. No. It was. I think it was like $600,000.
No, I thought he said 7.
When he did all those numbers after all of that, ticket sales, merchandise sales, and all that, that's the money that MX Sports gets.
I swear he said 700. Actually, I think it's 700.
$700,000, but there's no money to be had.
Yeah, you ain't making
per event.
Yeah, bro.
Right? He's.
Kev, you can walk away now. Kev's gonna walk away.
So Kevin signs off on any royalty revenue, so that he can promote a series that we all line the fence to watch him shred.
I know, because he's the star of the show.
But yet, I've got a 17-year-old kid in high school that gets a chance to go play. And the reason why I use this example is my brother was one of the first guys in high school to sign to a pro team in baseball. He signed with the Houston Astros out of high school. He made more on his signing bonus than he's made this year out of high school. And yet, I didn't go to any baseball games. Okay, but we're all going to motocross races. We're all going to supercross races, and this guy over here can't get any T-shirt sales.
There's no doubt. Sorry, go for it, Travis.
No,
I was just gonna prove
I'm a
Coach's
big
point
man,
of like I could drive 2 hours east or 2 hours west to go to a pro baseball game. Chicago Cubs, White Sox, Detroit Tigers. Either of them, 2 hours either way. Never been to any of them.
Like I said, only sport in the world where the stars of the show got to pay to get in, and they don't make any money at the end of the weekend. There's no other fucking sport in the world that the stars of the show got to pay to go do it.
And why have we gotten here? Because we've been brainwashed to believe that that's the way it is.
We just accept it. We just conform to it. Like I said, and I'm kind of getting a little. I'm to my point talking about the Netflix thing. Netflix made Formula One so big, and you were actually asking me about this with Alex Albon because of the whole Red Bull thing, him getting kicked off.
Yeah.
Netflix shed such a light on that whole situation with Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, and Max Verstappen that he got demoted to the DTM series, and he's been winning. That people made enough of a stink because they found out who Alex Albon was and how much of a shaft he was getting from Red Bull that he is now getting shot in a Williams car next year.
Wow.
Let me
because
put,
of Netflix.
Yeah, well, let me put it to you this way. Why don't we, like, obviously, you all keep talking about a video series, and we talked about this on the car ride on the way back. Blake Baggett. Can you imagine if we had a video series talking about this stuff?
He can't.
And all of a
He
sudden,
can't.
all of
Has
a
he got
sudden,
a gag
Blake's
order?
gone.
He's got a gag order.
Well, I know he's got a gag order, but I'm just saying, all of a sudden he's gone.
Josh Hill.
Even if we don't say, even if
His
he
brother.
can't say anything,
Josh Hansen.
it's not that hard to craft a video part of a video series like the Formula One, if we were doing one for Moto, around that to point
Dude,
you to.
I love the reality of speed.
Here we go.
I absolutely
But
love that show.
See, here's my flip side of that,
And,
though. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Johnny.
what was the other privateer team that tried to do it too? Fuck.
Team
They did it a
Solitaire,
couple
maybe?
years ago. They
Ryan Clark? Oh.
Oh, are you
and then,
talking
and then
Oh, with
like
Rhino.
Ryan Hughes
With
was
Rhino
the
and
pro.
Jamie Ellis.
Roto? Or,
Yeah.
with Rhino?
Bobby was on. Bobby did it. They did
Yeah,
the
Piazza,
whole
yeah.
reality Supercross thing or whatever.
Yeah, what was that team?
Yeah,
though?
Martin
Yeah,
Costello.
yeah, dude, like that.
Yeah.
That
But see,
yeah, that shit was more entertaining than the races.
Here-
and that's the whole idea: is you get attached to these guys that are finishing 18th place versus the superstars of the sport. But that's definitely one way of going about it.
here's the
Again, who is it the powers that be that can change this? And it's not me. It's maybe not anybody in the other room over there. It's literally the riders. If the riders don't like what's going on, they don't have to spend their dollars there.
See here's
But again, there's going to be some bleeding and everything that happens. Like I don't see, because again, it's so corner marketed that the powers that be own everything that it's hard to create something new. But again, I don't see, besides just bitching about it constantly, and quite frankly, I am tired of fucking bitching about the problems with this little sport that is motorcycle racing.
Then quit whining like a little bitch there, Johnny. Just speak up like a man, bro.
Dude, I know. Well,
see,
I'm like, I need a tampon because I'm vagina's bleeding.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Travis. You talk about the Blake Baggett thing, or just anybody that's been through Josh Hill, Josh Hansen, whoever, Jason Lawrence. If you ever somebody could find him, the problem is that if we did something like that, all of us sitting at this table, sitting in this room, and all the people that have an issue with it, they'd be like, "Yes, I completely understand it." But the powers that be, the ones that control the sport, would just spin it in a fashion that go, well, they're just pissed off. They're just sad about it. They're just sour. Like Johnny has said multiple times, we're not the problem. It's you guys. You keep bitching about it. You keep coming back. So they would make all of us that actually know what's going on look like the people that just, we're just complaining. Because they can spin the stories any way they want to.
Okay, but who has the power to make a difference?
The riders.
Who's the power that has to make a difference?
The
riders.
Yep.
Exactly. Like it's that plain and simple. It's a riders union. It's the riders that have the biggest voice. If we want to change the series, it's coming from the riders.
Yeah, but
Unless somebody like, if I had $1 billion, I could create a whole other series, and I could get other people to come over to my series. But I don't. So I guess the path of least resistance is to change what's currently happening in the system itself. And again, who has the power to change it? It's the riders.
Yeah, but who's going to be the but who's going to be the sacrificial lamb? You're going to have the Kevins that have to take a 3-year sabbatical. Their career's essentially over, so that a current 85 rider can rise into the catalyst of change that the current generation does or did, depending on how you're looking at it. If you're going to ask the
there's
existing...
the issue right there.
Well, of course. That's why I'm saying if you look at the PTO, the Professional Triathlete Organization, and you have somebody that's investing tens of millions of dollars, what is it that they did? There's an organization known as Ironman. Ironman essentially took over the sport of triathlon, and USAT, the organizing body of triathlon, let it happen. They lost control of the sport to the point that Ironman became its own entity with its own rules and regulations. PTO came in and said, no, we're not going to let you become the stronghold of who the show is. So an investor came in and said, we're going to do rankings based on the top 50 or 100 people. And even during COVID, when all these races got canceled, those athletes got a monthly check for the last 2 years.
I know, but who paid the who?
There was a private.
Who was the primary people that paid the?
It was just one investor that came in, but the investor created the organization.
It's an enthusiast that had a lot of money.
Right, but you're asking Kevin to give up 3 years of his career and the opportunity cost because all Kevin needs is a chance to say, okay, somebody gets hurt at one of the 7 or 8 or 11 factory rides that are there. That's the hope. And I know it's hard to think about it, but he has to leverage an opportunity of somebody else being injured and just happen to be the best guy.
Rob, like this brings out like the deal. Like, okay, here, I'm a washed up, has been dirt bike rider, right? That talks a lot of shit. If there goes a giant rider strike where nobody is showing up, well then Johnny Hopper says, oh fuck, as opposed to like finishing 60th at a national or something, I could finish top 10 because there's only 10 people that are willing to go racing. Yeah. That's the problem, is because everybody is not making any money, that you'll have a bunch of people out of the woodwork if they're going to jump on the opportunity. And again, that's part of the problem is we could start a riders union. It's going to the organization is going to just ban all those riders, and there's going to be more riders take their place, or we could just wait for the sport to become insolvent because the things aren't changing, or third, something magical happens and a big investor comes along and decides to create a new innovative sport. So
but those
are really the options.
Take your thread of thought though. You're telling me that if Kevin and 40 of the guys decide not to race this weekend, you're going to have a few guys that are going to be opportunistic, and they're going to jump on an opportunity to get 10th and make between $500 and $500 and $1,000. That's the best they're going to do by taking advantage of a group of the best guys that decide to make a stand. They're going to grovel over $500 to $1,000 for 10th place. Because now we're back to the purses are pathetic. Do you see this vicious cycle we're stuck in? We've got the assets of the show. We already heard, and I appreciate Kevin's honesty. Kevin's losing money. He gets
Me too.
He gets 7th place, makes $750, but adds up flights and all of his expenses. He's in the negative. And he works his ass off for Patreon and all this other stuff.
Main event rider at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Whole shot,
Rob,
leading laps and mains.
This is not just a rider.
Undefeated in LCQs.
It's not just a rider problem. It is. It is a money problem of all the media, the whole industry in general.
Right.
Everyone is groveling over a small pie. Nobody's making enough money. So it's like the same shit that people got mad at me about as far as clickbaiting and using the internet to my advantage, as people thought that I was making good money at it.
Yeah.
And it's the farthest from the truth. And so people get pissed off because I'm taking a part of the pie that other people feel like they deserve more. When in reality, the way to grow a sport is, who is the UFC fighter that basically, I'll remember his name here in just a second, but he said that
Conor McGregor?
No, not that dude. But in order to be better at your craft, and you could use this analogy in anything, is A, you need to have somebody to look up to, and B, you need to have somebody to teach, and then 3, you need to have somebody that's close to you so that you guys can kind of build each other up. And that's not what the industry is doing. Is we would rather like to stay in our position of power, whether it's the media or the race outlets, whatever, you just put blank there. They don't want to teach. They don't want to help anyone get close to where they're at. And that's the problem. Is there is a way, I don't know, and I'm not smart enough, I'm not at your IQ, Coach, where there's enough room in the realm of motorcycle racing to have us all collectively just start kind of feeding off of each other and making each other better and growing the sport versus always constantly knocking each other down. And I feel like this comes from that whole brainwashing thing, is like a little kid is, you're all nice to, you know, your buddy that you're beating, but as soon as he starts getting close to you or starts beating your kid or whatever, then he becomes mortal enemy number 1. And that's where I feel the problem is in the whole genre society of motorcycle racing, is it starts from the very beginning. Is nobody's willing to build each other up. We're always just trying to bash somebody down.
Well, let me ask you this. Look at, I don't know what team Kevin's been associated with this year and all that, but I can guarantee you the truck driver, the team manager, and the mechanic didn't work for free.
Nor did they pay their way there.
Exactly. But yet, the ultimate person that fills in the stadium, that gives a mechanic a purpose, that gives the team a marketable item, that gives the gear companies and the goggle companies and the boot companies something to put a picture on, to go and market, and yet everybody gets paid up front except the rider.
Now, when I watch MotoGP, for example, I don't see Marc Marquez out there being the driver of the marketing of the sport, right? When you watch Formula One is the one that drives a lot of this stuff. I don't see that necessarily with motocross. It is out there, right? So AMA Motocross, AMA Supercross, they do push it. But it's not the same way you see it from Formula One. It's not the same way you see it from MotoGP. Valentino Rossi's Instagram wasn't the driver of the media. Of the sport, right?
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier about social media is essentially just feeding into the people who are already fans of the sport. But there's not one of us in this room that haven't discussed the only way the sport's going to grow is with new eyeballs and new partners and bigger partners. You know, when you see FedEx sponsoring a PGA tournament, why? Corporate entertainment. That's where this is. I mean, there's so many facets to what we've talked about tonight that I think we've already addressed them.
Yeah.
If I've got a $10 million client and I've got a race that's coming to town, there's not a single, especially a dude, right? Nothing against the females like Ashley that thinks moto's cool. There's most dudes like motors. They like loud noises. They like shit like this.
Cavemen.
Yeah, we're pretty predictable,
Track
right?
snacks.
We're pretty predictable. But if I've got a hype, if I've got a
They make
number,
more than the riders.
if I've got a number one client and I've got Daytona come, I live in Orlando. For the listeners that don't know, I live in Orlando. Well, of course I'm going to try to get a corporate booth and bring my number one client there, and that's cool. I've got a corporate booth. But what if I could have Kevin Morantz come up after the race? What if I have to buy that booth from MX Sports. I think that's who owns Daytona, because I don't think it's a Feld Motorsports. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's Feld or MX.
It's Daytona whatever group.
Yeah, the DMG, the Daytona Motor Group.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go and I buy the booth space from DMG. How do I get access to Kevin Morantz? I can't get to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I can hit him up on social media and go, hey, dude, can you come up to my booth? And I'll spot you $5,000 for showing up. You know, I don't know what all is involved with that, but it shouldn't be that difficult. I know that I
Somebody hung up on me.
No, we just lost you for a second, but you're good. You're back. Keep going, Coach.
No,
So-
I thought
So if
it's
I
okay if you guys said that you wanted to hang up on me.
Coach.
We love you, man.
I'm not gonna take it
We love you, man.
personal. I'm just sitting over here by myself, looking at 4 big screens because I have a screen problem, and I'm compensating, and I've got my tail in between my leg because you guys hung up on me.
My God.
Does each one of your screens have a big black squirrel on it? Okay.
With a nut.
But
a nut.
But the idea here is, I live in Orlando. I can call the Orlando Magic up, and I can buy a corporate booth. I can bring 10 of my people, and it's going to be catered, and those guys go away and they go, damn, that was cool. But there's a distinct difference between going and watching basketball. Nothing against basketball. I want to be able to get access to that rider that's on the track. I've had the privilege of meeting Kevin today. Kevin articulates himself extremely well. He's, for somebody who's as fast as he is, you wouldn't know it off the track. He's just a dude that's in the pits. I would like my number one client to be able to have that experience, because he's going to go back home. He's going to watch the next Supercross and go, dude, I had a beer with that guy. I got his signature. And he signed his T-shirt for my kid.
We took a selfie together.
He took a selfie. And he took the time to this T-shirt for my 7-year-old, because it was a corporate it was a corporate meeting, right? But I brought home T-shirts. And he gave me his own signed shirt and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I go to...
he was able to sell his own merchandise at the...
Well, but think about it.
Even if it was like, hey, you give the stadium or Feld or MX Sports 5% of the proceeds or something. Like, there's so many things. Like, I know a bunch of people that would love to buy their own peacock as opposed to stealing my peacock. Not that I ever do that, give it to 12 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Is if you knew that, hey, 10% of this is going to the professional purse for the series, or the bonuses for the series, or you go buy a ticket and your $50 ticket, 5% of it goes to the purse. Because no facility, MX Sports, Feld, nobody is going to give up a piece of the pie unless the pie is growing. And in order for the pie to grow, there has to be a bigger reach. And again, with competition comes innovation. And that's why I think that, it'd be cool to see the production rule gone and have it unlocked to where they get to have all the cool pieces, parts, and then you get all sorts of different just people involved to try to just innovate it. And again, I'm just repeating myself ad nauseum about it. Coach, it sucks. This whole thing sucks. And I've been talking about how much it sucks for 3 or 4 years, and I am over it. I'm over. I don't know what's going to change it, what the catalyst is going to be to change it. I'm really cool to see a bunch of riders kind of talking more about the problems that's going on, because there are a lot of problems, but there is no other shop in town to change it. And if we go straight to the head honchos, they may or may not want to change it because they don't want to cut into their livelihoods or the money that they're making. So
head honchos, aka the Coombs family, right? Let's just be straight here.
Yeah, exactly.
Love them straight up. But here's so we're talking fix the sport, right? And one thing that I think that we should learn from, so the people that are at this table right now, we've been to the races on race day. We've done track walk, right? So
one or two.
One thing that's troublesome about being at the races, if you go to Supercross, for example, most people that are in the stands, even if they've ridden before, they've never walked the track. This is Tom.
No, sorry, this is Tom.
This is Tom. Go ahead, bud.
I got tagged back in, But anyway, so we go to the track, we go to especially Supercross, because it's very unique, and most people that are in the stands have never walked, have never ridden anything about the track, and they've never gone and tried to go up the face of a triple. You can't even fucking walk up it.
Yep.
You can't even walk up it. So when you're sitting in the stands, it looks like they're going like 40 miles an hour. You look at it, you're like, I could do that. But when you go to track walk, arena cross is where I use as an example for this, is that you would go to arena cross and like on the whoops and the straightaways and shit like that, they'd have tables for autographs, and the little kids would walk.
Yeah, they make your balls shrivel right back up.
The little kids would go and walk the track, and they would get the feel of what it was really like. They'd feel the tacky of the dirt. They'd walk around and they'd get a feel for how steep and how the 16 feet apart between the whoops, and they would get that feeling. So when they watch, it was real. Whereas
65 and 85s on Pro Night.
You're right, 65 and 89 on Pro Night. That was a very good thing. But with Supercross, most people in the stands, which is like 50,000 at a time, most of them have never experienced that before. Whether it's like
But
riding
they
on a
kind
rigid
of do
track.
with the whole Supercross Futures the next day.
That's people that want to race. I'm
it
talking
is
about
kinda
general
changing.
fans. We're talking about growing the sport with general fans. And if you want to have general
Sorry,
fans,
Tom. I'm just trying to be a dick and be devil's advocate.
Well, I'm here to add to the sports right now. So, if general people at 50,000 a weekend. There's 16 weekends, maybe more this year. I don't remember off the top of my head. But if that many people walk into the stadium that have never ridden before, have never raced a Supercross, have never been on the track, they've never tried to walk between whoops, and you can't jump between them. They've never done that before. So when you think about those general fans, you're trying to grow the sport. You're trying to get people interested in getting a new bike from these manufacturers that have riders on the gate. You're trying to get people brought into the sport. And these people, all you have to do is open the gates so people can walk down there. Like, let's pay attention here. The promoters, it's not just the tracks being changed a little bit. It's not just unlocking the media access of all these different people. Bring the fans in, get them engaged in the sport, and it'll grow. 50,000 people a weekend. 50,000 people. One of them has to ride and just like, this is fucking cool. I want to go walk around the track. I want to see what this is really about in person. One of them makes a big difference.
That one makes all the difference.
That's what's also cool about the MX of Nations weekend. After the race, they let everybody walk the track. We all saw we were there.
Bingo.
We're all there at Red Bud at 18.
Daytona Supercross also.
Yeah, well, but they let everybody walk the track after the weekend. After the last moto goes off, MX1 and MX3 on Sunday, they let everybody walk the track. Now, obviously, there's certain rules that they have. Hey, don't steal shit. But they let everybody walk the track.
Oh, we weren't supposed to steal anything?
Dude, I'm not giving back my banner.
What's the average price point? Say 50 grand at Arena Cross. What's the average price point for ticket?
$75.
75 realistic?
Yeah.
30 or something at like an arena cross.
Well, I remember back. Well, we're probably talking about back in the day, though, right, Don? Because that sounds. Yeah.
Today, Supercross, 50,000 a weekend.
Oh,
50,000 a weekend,
I
but
don't
at
know.
what price point to get in the door?
55 to 65.
Let's round it down to 50.
Okay.
Yeah, like on an even, like you could buy, yeah.
So that's
$90, I feel like it's
but that's 2.5 million just on gates coming in the front door.
Yep.
Okay. Now think about it. Kevin was talking about how social media drives his revenue to survive. So now what you do, I go back to the corporate because I own 11 companies and this is important to me. If Daytona comes to town and I want to bring my top clients in, why can't I make arrangements to have Kevin, Meshi, Brayton? I'm just trying to go. I'm not gonna. Yeah. And here's where I'm going to be somewhat of a real dick. Do I want to have a Kevin Moranson or do I want to? I'm just going to say top 5 pros that can only say yeah,
I want Kevin.
Hell yeah,
because you humanize it with him. Like he's actually going to be real with you. Where everybody's going to be like, yeah, no, totally. You're like, yeah, no, yeah, it's cool. Track's good.
Really, right?
Really, right? Like
yeah,
Toyota
really,
Cadescamino.
Right? Hey, or this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I.
You know
what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Jalixwell.
I can see through my goggles.
What's great talking with Kevin is he uses more than monosyllables.
Yes.
It's a very novel idea
that you would actually have a conversation.
But here's the thing. No, not with me. With my $7 million client that Kevin can engage with when my client leaves and goes, that was the best experience ever.
Because Kevin's going to talk to him like a human being.
Well, Kevin's
So,
going to
Rob, are you saying that there should be some packages involved that you could?
Well, why not, right? We have this hospitality area. Oh, that's right. It's the same Red Bull people at every weekend. Oh, it's the same XYZ sponsor.
All right, but what would you change?
Well, hey, if the race comes to town and I'm looking for, am I going to go to an NBA game? Bounce, bounce, bounce. Or am I going to go over here to a Supercross race where I'm at the birthplace of speed? A lot of people have never been inside the racetrack. That's daunting as hell.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
And wait a second. At the end of the night, for an extra $15,000, I can bring in a Moranson, a Meshi, and a Brayton. And my client, because it's not about me. I'm there to entertain my clients.
Okay, but where do you want the money to go then? If you were to
I don't give a rat's ass.
I was MX Sports,
Coach,
and you were paying me $15,000 to have the amenities. What would you like to see me do with the money?
I'm a corporate client with an event coming to town. I could go to, if I'm in Georgia, I can go to Augusta. If I'm in Daytona Beach, I can go to the Daytona 500. If the Supercross comes to town, I can take my client. What I want is to be able to buy a package where you're going to give me, because I know motocross, but my client doesn't. But not because Kevin's with us. I'm not going to call anybody out. I don't want monosyllable factory riders.
Well, Coach, it's kind of weird because you and Chris just had this gentleman on a few shows ago, a certain RCH person that actually was doing this for a while, and then they told him, "Hey, no, you can't do that anymore."
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yep. And the only reason why he got it off the ground in the first place is because 3 of his sponsors happened to sponsor the series. So because he was able to pull it off, and everyone's like, "What a novel idea!" And I'm like, "What are you thinking?" The dude is fucking handing out donuts and has a OnlyFans. What a fucking epic play on words, right? And he even said, if I do
Are you peeing right now?
and he even says, if my mom knew I did an OnlyFans page.
Wait, is this not appropriate?
Okay. But what did he do? He got Red Bull where people could pay a premium to come into an area. And what did he do? He came over after the race. Dun, da, da, da. It just happened.
He didn't even come over after the race. It was between practice and the motos.
But my client, who's my number 1, top 3, top 10 clients, I can throw an incentive package out. Hey, you guys kill some sales numbers. I'll take you to Daytona. I'll get you to meet 3 of the cool dudes. My clients don't know if he went 1st, 5th, or 15th. He doesn't give a shit. They don't care. They're like, that dude was a pro moto guy. I got 3 shirts for my kid. I got a selfie for my wife because my wife thinks you're hot. Perfect.
They don't care, but
There you
when
go, Kev.
Kevin Moranz is the guy and he goes out and gets a hole shot, they're going to shit their pants at the first.
I know that
I
dude.
talked to that guy.
No, he's my BFF.
Uh-huh.
He's my BFF because he's going to come up afterwards, and now my selfies
All right,
have.
I guess the question is, I don't understand. So would we go to Feld or MX Sports and ask them for specialty packages so that they can make more money?
I don't need Feld or MX to make more money. I need the show people to make the money. I need some thoughts outside.
So you would
the
like to have a special package that costs quite a bit more for your high dollar client, but then have some of that have the MX Sports or Feld then pay the privateer or the one rider guest to then come be nice to your client per se.
100%.
That's where I'm hearing is
100%. Think about it this way.
But it could be a win-win. They could have a couple. They could take a little bit of the money too and give it a little bit to the rider too. Like that sounds like a great idea.
Well, think about it.
That's a great idea.
It just so happens that Formula One's in Austin, Texas this weekend, and you don't see. So you get Daniel Ricciardo, for example, who's all over Texas everywhere, right? So they're using that marketing stuff, and they're pushing it through their different racers. I would say not riders, but and it's not just the Daniel Ricciardos, the Lewis Hamiltons, those guys. It's the 15th, the Sergio Perez guys. There's all kinds of racers, and it's not just the top guys that get pushed with these other Formula Ones, for example, because it's good timing for that. But you could have a Kevin Moranz, you could have all these different privateers going to these different suite boxes, which are paid by ticket sales, which goes through both the promoter and the house, so to say. And you are feeding the privateers, you're feeding the whole sport, not just the top 5, through the same ticket sales, which are now bigger because you're offering more, right? And it's immersing the new customers who are these corporate sponsors. For this example, you're immersing the new sponsors, you're immersing the new fans. We'll just say that into the sport in a way they would never have had before. Not even no chance. There's not something like that currently, where these new people that are now in the stands. Have never seen this before, are now involved. They've met Kevin Moranz today. This is a great example because he's here, but they have some skin in the game. They say when he crosses that whole shot line first, and you go, holy shit, I met that guy today, and this is the first time I ever saw a motorcycle before. That changes. Now we're talking about growing the sport, not just making money off the same fucking people that are there.
Johnny's packing his bag. He's getting divorced.
But think about what you're saying right there, though.
Actually, guys, I that is a great idea, and Travis, Tom, Justin, Coach, I don't mean to be more of a dickhead than I already have and been disrespectful enough that I probably have during the what is this, almost a little over 2 hours we've been together.
Mm-hmm.
I respectfully I would like to go read my little girl a book before I put her
That's
to bed.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we can't say anything to that.
I put mine to bed before we got started, so.
No, tell your beautiful
And
bride.
if Cooksey was here, he'd probably have a wife joke that I would be very disappointed about.
Yeah, tell your wife I said hello and hope to see you guys soon. Thanks for being on the show, bud.
We love you, Johnny.
Yes, thank you for coming on, bud.
Thank you, pal.
Hey, I love you guys, and hopefully you guys will invite me back on. And
Absolutely,
I didn't,
man.
Like I said, disrespect too much.
Love you, bud. Thanks for being on the show.
We'll see you at a Supercross.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
No, probably
We'll talk to you soon, bud.
See you later,
Thanks,
bud.
buddy.
Have a
Have a good night.
Awesome.
And
See you guys.
let's take this a step further. If I own the Orlando Magic, every time I sell those corporate boxes, annuals, one event, that's my that's the ROI I get for going ahead and staffing a team of whatever that salary is, right? But where are those teams making their money back? Merchandise sales, VIP tickets, annual ticket holders. I don't know the nuances. I haven't seen the contract, but there's nobody buying an NBA team that doesn't say, hey, I've got merchandise, I've got ticket sales, I've got VIPs, and then there's other special events. I used to be in the grocery industry. I did quantitative statistical analysis. So when you have a Procter and Gamble in a basketball team comes to town, right? What is it that allows me, Procter and Gamble, to entertain my clients? I buy 8 or 10 annual tickets. So now I can incentivize, I can smooth, I can, whether it's Publix or Kroger or whoever it is, I invest in those corporate tickets because I might get to see a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, all the...
I mean, you want an example that works for the sport, okay?
good.
The first ever professional motocross race I went to in 2014 was the Redbud Pro National.
Yeah.
The tickets I had was through a buddy of mine who worked at a local grocery store called Harding's. They had Muscle Milk rep came in. Muscle Milk was sponsoring Honda.
Yep.
My first race, I had VIP pit passes to go be in the hospitality tent and everything in Honda.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that shit's gross. But anyway, but yeah, so that was the first experience I had. Now, how the hell did we have that? Well, Muscle Milk has these tickets. Oh, it's coming to town. Oh, you've got someone who's going. Okay, here, boom, boom, boom. And there were 4 or 5 of us that all went and went in the pits and everything. And that was my first experience at a outdoor national, and it was awesome.
But think about it. I've got pictures of myself with the Camel Girls at the Daytona Supercross, because it used to be called the Camel Supercross Series, because I was a buyer at Gooding Supermarkets. Can you guys guess who the CEO of the company was? It was Adam C.'s grandfather, Mike C.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding. That's cool.
And Alan C., Adam's dad, was our store manager at our university store. My point is, when you get a corporation involved, and then you bring in the corporate sponsors, and then you bring in those retailers, now you've twisted the model in a positive way, that now that event is something that I can bring my top clients to, that has to trickle down to these guys. Because
beauty.
Go ahead, brother.
The beauty of this show is that a couple of people at this table, most of us at least, are CEOs of our companies. So, like, when you think about for example, I go to a lot of Red Wings games, and to have that value, you're spending a lot of money as a corporation, to have that value that you're bringing out through all these tickets that you're selling is difficult to do, because if you're just thinking about spending the money, you're not really getting anything back, right? Well, when you immerse these new fans, these customers of yours, with the sport, you get more value out of your dollar. If you're trying to actually entertain them, you're trying to actually kind of get a relationship with them by being at this sport, at this event, you are getting more out of your bang out of your buck if you have the immersion with the riders. So let's just say for Supercross, we have a Kevin Moran. This is a great example today. If you have
So many times.
He's getting
Kevin
a big
Moran.
bang for his buck today. The way he rode that 125 today, or the 150, he earned it.
It's a 125. 125.
I'm good with that.
125.
It's a 125.
You know, he was beating a particular pro around here on his 450 today on that 125. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. Guy couldn't catch him. It was
No. And so, like, going back to the VIP thing, like Coach has been talking about, okay, and we've been harping a lot on Formula One. Have you boys looked up how much a VIP ticket is to Formula One?
Yeah, we already talked about
We
this.
talked about it. Have you, Tom?
Not recently.
Take a guess.
$1,000.
That's funny.
Keep going.
25.
$5,600.
That's for like the low level.
That's a low-level VIP ticket.
And the thing is, too, is you're
at
not even
Texas.
Yeah, because we've talked about like possibly the Miami race next year because it's going to be in downtown Miami. It's going to be the streets are going to be closed off.
Daddy doesn't have $5,600.
Well, the thing is, too, is you said
though.
you said Williams, right? Williams is the other one for like 72 or 75.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Williams, like
no,
George-
Williams was the cheaper one. There was another one that was more expensive. But I don't know what it was.
Okay, so like no disrespect to Williams, like George Russell is about to take over Bottas's seat at Mercedes-Benz.
Let me ask you this: how much of that $5,600 do you think that team is getting through Formula One? Though
That's the $1 million question.
they got to be getting some of it. There's no way that team is giving.
They
Just
will not
random-
commit to that.
Yeah,
And
unless
that's
they're getting.
that's
some
where
of
they're
it.
working together because I'm going to go ahead and sell this, but you've got to commit to that your driver's available.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than the NBA. When I was with Gooding Supermarkets, Shaquille O'Neal had just signed,
Mm-hmm.
so we would do what's called tuxes and tennies or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They would take these big ass shoes and they had everybody on the team sign it, and then they would raffle off the shoes, and they would do it for charity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I go back to who cares if you have Anthony Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal and those guys? Well, because the NBA made them, or the Magic, in conjunction with the NBA, made them a household name.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played a day of basketball in my life, and I could tell you Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, Horace Grant, all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about it, which is what we were trying to get across earlier. The NBA made those guys a household name in conjunction with the Magic. The Magic takes a calculated risk, invests all these money, all these dollars into these athletes that hopefully I can turn it around in marketing with merchandise sales. They had the Orlando Magic merchandise store, an entire store. Can you imagine a Kevin Morant's merchandise store?
Well, and with the
God, it's
popularity
headed to
of
get bigger than it already is.
well,
No,
and-
but think about it. But no, I'm dead serious. Think about it. Let's say Kevin rides for a team. Okay, it's your coating company.
yeah,
All right, you
like
create
a
your
good
own.
idea.
You create your own standalone store. The average Joe rides by and goes, "All right, whatever." Whoever Kevin Morant is, I don't know who it is. But you have the Orlando Magic store, and you've got coffee cups, mugs, T-shirts, boxers, whatever. Right? There were 7 standalone stores of Orlando Magic, nothing but the Orlando Magic store, merchandising their clients. Which the only way they have that opportunity is because the NBA has TV contracts that they spent the money on. So now a team comes to town. You're like, holy shit, my favorite team is the Bulls and the Magic. You're going to grab your 4 because you've already bought annual tickets. We've reinvented the wheel tonight like 7 different times.
my question is how are these promoters in our sport so, for lack of a better term, stupid?
They're not.
that they
They're
can't
selfish.
Understand this?
Because this guy's willing to race for free when a team is going to pay a mechanic, a driver, a man.
Yeah,
Roger DeCoster is not flying to a race for free.
Yeah, but think about this, okay? So we just talked about Formula One. You pay
a good point.
$5,600 for.
Is that per
fucking-
person?
Yeah,
To answer your question, I think it's a 60-40 split. To answer your question, I think it's a 60-40 split.
for the VIP thing.
Yeah, because Formula One, you got to think too. They make so much money off TV rights. To them, shit like that is not that big of a deal to make in return.
Okay, but still.
But that's not the point.
No,
The
that's
fact
not
that-
the point at all.
The point is they're willing to split
Exactly.
the revenue.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's 80-20, 10,
Yeah, yeah.
90-10.
Yep.
Like,
it's the
why
idea
are our promoters not willing
Because
to
they
do
don't-
that? Because
because
there's
they
so
don't-
much money to be made there.
because they don't have to.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I'm with you.
In my mind, even
I'm
if I'm
with you.
selfish with money, which I am, I'm a fucking money whore,
Tightwad,
like all
yep.
of us here.
Yep.
Like,
Businessman.
dude, if I can, okay, I'll give you a prime example. Me and Justin are opening a power sports thing. Justin is charging X amount per hour to wrench on bikes. I am billing for Y amount. My Y amount is greater than
X
his
plus
X
Y,
amount.
yep.
I'm making money. Now, am I making as much as I could be? No.
Or as much as he is?
No.
No.
But am I making money?
Absolutely.
Boom.
No.
So, I mean, I don't. So, coming from a guy who is a fucking money whore, I don't understand where their
sure you're not
mindset
Dutch?
goes with this.
Are
Huh?
you sure you're not Dutch?
No, not really.
Because like, if you were Dutch, it would make a lot of sense.
Okay, whatever. I'm not getting the thing. Sorry, it's late. I'm tired. I'm not understanding
sorry.
where the joke's going there.
It's not really a joke. It's
Is
just
something like Black Squirrels with Johnny or what? I don't know. Anyway, so it just to me it doesn't make any sense of why like these experiences that you have talked about, the Netflix shit that we all have talked about, or the YouTube shit or whatever. It doesn't make any sense to me. In my mind, 10% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And right now, with the way they're doing this, all the stuff that we're talking about, all the ideas we've talked about over any of these shows we've done, they're getting 100% of none of it. Instead of 10% of something, which could be, for all we know, by the way everything compounds down, could be more than what they're making now anyway.
But not to be argumentative, who's getting 100% of nothing?
Kevin
Morantz.
We should just say his name one more time.
That's the problem. That's the problem that you run into.
Yeah.
Because as long as you're not the one there's a lot of double negatives. As long as you're not the one not getting the money, you're content.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing is, too, is like, I know a certain track around this area, and I'm not going to say it, but we've talked about it.
Say the name.
I'm not going to do it.
Say her name.
I know for a fact how much money that they were, well, I guess you could say the promoters were making about 10 years ago at a certain national, and it was upwards of $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, where'd that money go? Donations money. Yeah, where's that money go? I know I've told you this before, a certain track on the East Coast, and I'll just say Maryland, when he thought, he was going to make a whole bunch of money off the Motocross of Nations, and that was also a dual thing between MX Sports and Giuseppe, he almost went bankrupt because he thought, I was going to make all this money, and then they put themselves in the hole, and he almost had to just shut the track down completely.
And why'd that happen?
Well, he just didn't get anything like he thought he was going to.
They asked him to cut down a bunch of trees. He cut down a bunch of trees, got hit with a huge financial penalty afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way the contract states is if MX Sports comes in and they want a tree removed, if you don't remove it the way that they state, the contract says they can hire an independent contractor no matter what price they quote, you're going to pay the bill. It's in the contract.
And like I said, that's why there's a certain track on the West Coast that is about to have to bow out of the Nationals.
Closer, yep.
Yep. And
because the contract is designed only for the benefit of the promoter. It doesn't benefit the stars of the show. It doesn't benefit those, like Chris said earlier, puts up the prize purse, carries 100% of the risk. And what I love about it, when you read the contract, it states for the prestige of hosting an outdoor national.
Yeah, because that's pretty much nothing anymore.
Because who is it prestigious to?
It's
us.
Well, no, Tom. Let me put it out there. The motocross to me is still number one. I know Supercross makes the money in that. For me, being a diehard, it's about motocross. But like me and Travis go round and round on this, and as much as I hate to agree with him, the factories don't give two shits about. Don't do that.
Well, I'm done. I can go home now, boys. Show's
just
over.
whatever,
Thanks everyone
dude.
for coming.
Shut
We'll
up.
see you all
I've
tomorrow.
agreed with you a few times. They don't give a shit about the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll argue this point to me as a diehard, somebody that like the Nationals are the biggest thing, but they just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And
But think about this. What happens if Supercross decides to go ahead and add 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds? So now Supercross doesn't end the end of April, beginning of May. Now it ends the end of July.
To be honest, I can't believe we didn't do it this year. I can't believe we didn't have multiple rounds that were
you did tell
multiple rounds
Cavs
in
to
a
like
week.
get ready for 25 rounds.
I
of
thought
Supercross.
for sure we were doing 20 rounds this year in the same time frame, but we were going to do multiple rounds per week.
Well, that's why we have a few
and
guys
do
doing
every
Supercross
single
only.
week, like or
Well,
all 17 weeks, like we do normally. But just
think
throw
about
extras in there.
How hard is it to get a stadium now?
Not that hard.
Oh, it's very, very hard. It's very, very hard.
Oh yeah, I guess because everything
very,
is
very
coming
hard.
back with the concerts and stuff. So
Exactly.
Yeah, so that is
so the
more tricky.
availability goes away.
Yeah.
And now you have is the stadium going to mandate vaccination? That throws a curveball in there. Because what is it? Is it Vegas or Vegas?
Yeah.
That's why they're not going back to Vegas because they're mandating vaccination, and Feld doesn't want to be as
that's
the new stadium. It's the new
Vegas
stadium.
doesn't want the dirt in there.
What is the new stadium in California that's mandating the vaccine and Feld won't touch it?
There is the what's it called? The
I think that might be SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, but what is it? Who plays there? The Rams or
Rams.
whatever. Yeah,
Los Angeles Rams.
But from what I
They're building
understand,
another stadium.
Great. From what I understand, no one wants to go to that shithole town anyway. But from what I understand, like Vegas, they said like, you're gonna have to show your card when you go in, and like it's not a real thing.
It's not.
It's fake news.
Gotcha.
So from what I understand from people who were trying to go to the first football game and then didn't, and then new people that went there, they were like, they weren't even checking. It's fake. So,
Gotcha.
So I don't know how real that's going to be with everything. I don't know if you saw the video with Dave Prater and Weege, but they were saying that, yeah, there's not going to be any of that with the Super, which is great in my opinion, but we won't get into all that here because we like to stay on YouTube sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Prater's doing a heck of a job. I mean, he has his hands tied because you think about it, they got to try to confirm and lock up a venue.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got to play by the stadium's rules and regulations. And Prater doesn't have a dog in that fight.
No.
I mean, it could be the races coming in on Saturday. It's Wednesday, and they go, yep, we're going to require it. That's not a Feld Motorsports decision.
No.
I mean, and poor Prater's pulling his hair out.
As a business owner, it's a real challenge. There's a lot of things in play where you don't know if tomorrow there's going to be another pandemic. And with if you're trying to book 6 months ahead of time for a stadium that you're going to pay $2 million, let's just say.
Sure.
Be in, that's a real risk right there. That $2 million is on you. That's not on, oops, we had in that pandemic. That doesn't happen. Maybe,
that's right.
Maybe there's some loophole, but I mean, really, you're putting up the risk. If you go and you book this kind of event and you intend on having a lot of revenue and then you have none, that's a huge problem.
Yep.
But let me ask you this. So that obviously is a thing, and I know we're getting way off the rails here of what we were originally talking about, which was like how to make the sport better. But okay, so they went and they booked 17 rounds, 17 different cities, 17 different stadiums, right? So now we're talking here about risk of like if there's another all of a sudden pandemic here and we can't go, or all of a sudden they require something and then like 3/4 of the guys can't race, 90% of the fans aren't coming in at that point. So to me, it even makes me question why we didn't do 20 rounds, because think about it. They booked those stadiums for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because they do Monster Jam, they do Supercross, they do whatever, right? So you've already got it for a couple of weeks. Well, why not just do, say, an extra week for Monster Jam, and now you have your 2 Supercross races. You race Saturday, Tuesday. The next Saturday, you're at a different stadium, and you do it Saturday, Tuesday, and you throw some extras in there. That way, okay, let's say something pops up in one of the cities. We can't do that round for some reason. Well, you still got 17 rounds. Where now it's like if something pops up in a city and we have to cancel a round, I mean, now all of a sudden you're not doing a 17-round series anymore. How does that look? I don't know.
Well, and take it a step further. What does Cooper Webb's contract look like? What does Tomac's contract look like?
Yeah. Do they have to do 17?
10 races, 17 races, 15. Now their contracts are not null and void. Throws a huge curveball because just like a lot of the privateers or up-and-coming guys, hey, if you're in a satellite program, you don't race 50% of your races, your revenue, your salary is either gone or you have to give it back.
Well, how many times have we seen that with contracts with these top guys anyway, where they get hurt and they come back early because they have to do a certain amount of rounds or they don't get paid?
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about with Justin Hill. What is his contract? Is it going to be salary or performance based?
I don't know if you heard. You saw Justin's coming back.
Yeah. Where did we say? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what we said.
But me and Coach were talking because it's not known. Is it going to be salary or performance based? Because his last year with JGR and Moto Concepts was performance based. So it's like if they, because with Justin,
with a team like that, do we really think there's a salary behind it?
Well, I don't know. The point is that with Justin, he's always been on performance based because he knows 2-3 times a year. Oh, hey, I can go get 5th, 6th, 45K for that, whatever. And the rest of the year, I just ride around in 10 to 15th. So for him, like that's the thing.
But now the dominoes start to fall because X amount of races start. It whittles down to X minus 5, and that's why a lot of the manufacturers were pushing so hard, because if they don't get enough races in, like a Mitch Payton, he's not going to get the money from Kawasaki without enough races.
Well, that's why we had to do 9 outdoors in 2020 there.
Yep, and that's why you saw
9 was the minimum we could do in order for everybody to get paid the way they needed to.
And that's why Utah was the way it was, because they're like, we need a number, and we've got to get over that threshold no matter come heck or high water. Whether we're racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we're racing to get over that threshold. And let's not forget, because we are talking about promoters, stipulations are in those contracts as well.
Too. For sponsorship.
If there's not enough races, now all of a sudden that money starts to fall away. Whether we like the promoter's MO or we don't, it's still part of the part of the puzzle, if you will.
100%. Well, hell, look at the GPs right now. They're finishing out their last 5 rounds. They're doing what they did last year in Trentino. They're racing Sunday, then they're going to race Tuesday, and then next Saturday, and then they're staying in Italy because of borders being closed, and they're going to Italy, but Puerto Meta, or however they say it. They're finishing their last round, and they're in one of the closest, actually the closest 450 points titles chase ever.
They're
going to finish their final round on a Tuesday afternoon, and nobody's going to be watching, and nobody's going to be there. I mean, right now their 450 race between Geyser, Hurlings, and Fevra is literally within 5 points of 1 through 3. And they're going to finish their final round on a Tuesday afternoon, and nobody's going to be there to watch it.
But what matters more, who wins, or that there's enough races so that the teams and everybody gets paid?
Gotta get 19 rounds in, baby.
Yeah.
Whether if it's on a Tuesday afternoon or not.
Yeah.
I was talking to Todd Waters this week. He just lost the Australian Championship because they just said, you know what, we're going to go.
Yeah, they cut
We're just going to call it.
Yeah.
So Luke Cloud ends up winning, just based on the fact that they cut the series short.
Wow.
So I texted Todd and I'm like, that's total BS.
Hey.
It is.
It just doesn't even make sense to me. You know, Todd has one race. It's just a little bit off the back. Now all of a sudden the defending champion doesn't defend his championship.
Can you imagine if that happened in the U.S. this year? Like,
Oh,
let's
never.
say something happened and we missed a round or two.
Remember, we
as
talked
SX.
about this during 2020, like,
Yeah.
what happened, or what happens if somebody tests positive?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, here in America, we wouldn't let it happen. They won't let it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Davey Coombs, if he has to race 7 days a week, Prater, if he has to race 7 days a week, that's what they're going to do.
Davey Coombs going to do 10 rounds at Ironman to
He'll
get
do
that.
10 rounds. He'll go to Loretta's if he
Look,
has
bro,
to.
he's going back to Kenworthy. We're racing at Kenworthy.
Yeah, exactly. He'll pull back,
Steel City.
I was thinking Troy, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he'll pull. But
Well,
he's going to do what it takes.
Well, they're also, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but because of the certain track on the West Coast possibly going away, there's talk of going back to Freestone now.
Mhm.
And there's, because everybody also, too,
Sick.
is clamming.
Heat strokes for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? No IVs.
Yeah, and let's go 3 rounds of Paula instead of 2.
Yeah, because that's great. Everybody
Yeah,
wants that.
so everybody loves Paula.
Yeah, everybody.
Great track.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome.
It's on my bucket list.
Holds
to
up
ride.
well.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Kev, how was Paula? Was Paula good?
Kev.
Was Paula good, buddy? Track? Yeah. Kev just went.
Yeah. I mean, that says it all. And again, I don't want to get on a soapbox, but, once again, if you and I live in Orlando, there's certain tracks down there, it's either pathetic, it's like so dry, it's like a speedway. No one wants to drive it. Nobody wants to race it or ride it. And then, or it's so clapped out and dry.
We have one 5 minutes from here.
Yeah. But the point is,
Talking about Martin, or not Martin, but Ziegler's.
Yeah.
But think about this. You're taking the fastest guys in the world and you're putting it on a total shithole.
I think we should go to Kroom.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
There you
That'll
go.
make-
that'll
hey,
make it happen.
and throw a
That'll
couple
work.
quads in there just to keep it
And
honest.
maybe like a Jeep or two.
Yeah.
And then really give so many people to bitch about.
But that's the point. It's just like we don't take into consideration. I mean, talk to Kev. What's Kev going to say? I want a track where I've got 40 guys that can make it rough, national level rough. Not too much prep, not too dry, not as a prima donna, but let's make it raceable. But we're like you say, we'll go to Troy, Ohio. We'll go to
be underwater.
Yeah, whatever it takes, just so we can get the number count in. But
I say all 12 rounds at Red Bud's fine. Red
It's
Bud
totally
or Nova.
cool.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that.
yeah, I know.
2 last year was sweet.
That was
Yeah.
such a weird feeling being there. Nobody just being able to walk it wherever you wanted.
Dude, the multiple rounds per week for Supercross was awesome too.
That was.
I liked going to Indy Saturday
And then coming
staying
back
Sunday,
home.
Monday, and then seeing the Tuesday round, and then come home for like 2 days, and then go back Saturday.
Yeah, but how would you feel to have to do that 3 times in Detroit?
Detroit would be even better. I just drive over there during the day and
You wanna
drive back
spend-
at
You want
night.
to spend 3 times in Detroit?
No, I don't really want to spend
Yeah.
any time in Detroit,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm going. So
Yeah, well, it's gonna be great.
let's throw another whole curveball in it. What happens if MX Sports buys the Supercross?
Oh, good God.
That's,
I don't think. You think you've heard rumblings about this?
Yep.
Jesus, kill me now.
God, if that happens, let's face it, we're all getting lawsuits filed against
What are
us.
the real ramifications of that? If MX Sports buys Supercross as a promoter,
Yep.
what are the real ramifications of that? Because
Well-
Feld does Monster Jam, and that's a huge part of this.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Supercross is not very profitable for Feld.
No.
It's
No,
not very
and Prater
profitable.
even
at all.
talked about
Yeah.
that during the with the one show.
I mean, the reality of it is, if you looked at everything that Feld owns, with concerts and Monster Jam, I mean, why? And this is something that I'd love to talk to Kevin about. We can do a whole show around this. You look at Feld Motorsports; they own every single truck in a Monster Jam. They own the entire show.
They have the training facility at Feld's headquarters in Tampa.
So they own the entire show. They own the trucks. They own the drivers and all
Yep.
that. Do you think Kevin would be interested at racing for a base salary of $250,000? I'm just pulling
Kev,
a number out.
You good with that?
You know,
It's like half what he makes on Patreon in a month, but whatever, it's fine.
yeah, we know he's about 500 a grand. We're
God, we just keep going up with this number.
a month.
It's gonna make it to $1 million by the end of the show.
But the thing that I always look at is there's got to be a reason why Feld would be willing to buy everything, the cars, the drivers, the series, everything. Why is Feld not interested in doing that with Supercross?
Is it even possible with the manufacturers involved? I think
Are they involved with the manufacturers with these trucks?
no. Because
That's
I
my
had a-
point. They're individual teams, right?
Yeah.
Because I had a friend that used to drive the Scooby-Doo truck, and it was
You have Gravedigger and whoever Bradshaw raced for, you know,
Yeah.
the point is, why doesn't why doesn't Feld see the value of investing in Supercross where we're going to create 10 teams, each team has 5 riders, and we're going to go racing.
Do you think that part of our issue is the manufacturers still being involved instead of having full, like, all privately owned teams?
Well, is it the manufacturers being manipulated by the promoters being manipulated by the manufacturers?
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Hey, how many times have we seen the whoops cut down?
Not from Roger DeCoster.
Not from Roger DeCoster.
There's
Anybody
no way
but
that
Roger.
there's no way
That's
that
fake.
KTM
Hey, that's
that
fake.
can't go
That's
through the
fake
whoops.
news. What do you mean?
Roger DeCoster would never do that.
That is so fake news.
Let's see.
possible.
Let's
Look,
see.
Cooper Webb.
Cooper Webb qualifies 11th in the first practice. The whoops get cut down to rollers, and Webb comes back. That's a novelty. Oh
Look,
wait,
man,
I'm
that did
sorry.
not- that
or
did not
maybe
happen
Marvin. Or maybe Marvin.
That did not happen in Detroit one
That
year.
did not happen.
That did not happen.
That did not happen. So my point is when you go back and forth with that, if MX Sports buys out Feld, and I know it seems far fetched. I don't think anything's far fetched.
No.
not these.
So when you realize that the Supercross wanted to extend by 4 races and go into May, and they don't, who the heck's to tell them that they're not going to go expand their series by 4? So you go, because if I own an outdoor series and that outdoor series is going to be X amount of rounds, and now you want to encroach and take 4 of those away, now I lose a percentage of my revenue because it was sold in as X amount of events. Now there's X minus 4. You're not taking money from me. Well, then why hasn't that happened?
And the example we were looking at earlier was $2.5 million per. So if it's 4, you're talking $10 million. $10 million is not nickels for any corporation, let alone a big promoter where their job is promoting X number of races.
But what's staggering to me is we haven't even gotten close to the $11 million that Augusta pays for one event.
Or the fact that the worst Formula One driver on the grid makes more than everybody,
Combined
on the gate at a Supercross or not.
We don't have Johnny on here. How many people, just for whatever shits and giggles, how many people attend the Augusta event to watch?
A lot, dude.
But-
Do we have Google going?
But hold
I don't
on.
follow golf,
Do we
but
have
it is a
Google?
lot.
But hold
Anybody?
on. But hold on.
I don't know. I'm just curious.
But hold on.
It's just a curiosity thing.
But it's not the amount of people at the event.
okay.
It's the TV.
Yeah.
It's
At
the
Augusta,
TV.
There's a lot of fucking people there. I don't know about any other ones. Yeah. No, I understand that. I don't know about everywhere else, but Augusta, I feel like it's a very, very high number. I don't know about other events.
Yeah, but I'm not a golfer.
Yeah.
But I'll watch Augusta.
Oh, I will too.
Because it's the best of the best of the best. It's like the Masters.
It's because you need a nap, and I'm cool with that because I do the same thing with NASCAR.
Look, I just do that with tennis.
But it goes back to what we're talking about. We can give 5 drivers from NASCAR. We can give 5 guys from Formula One. We can give a couple guys from MotoGP. And yet we didn't race it. We don't own a track. We don't own one of those pieces of equipment. But yet we're talking about them. Why? Because the promoters make them household names. What'd you see?
40 to 50,000 is what it says.
So the same as
according to Google. So like the same as a Supercross.
Supercross.
Well,
But they can pay an $11 million purse.
Well,
But where's the $11 million coming from? TV revenue, corporate booths, corporate sponsorship. I'm telling you, look at that 18th hole when they've got all of those grandstands.
Yep.
If I'm and it says IBM on top of it, what is that? $25 million?
Easy.
If you guys go to IEG, it's a sponsorship report. The numbers that you see in PGA, Formula One, I mean, for what
Formula
we
One?
would consider is just like, well, who would want to be on the 18th hole at Augusta? Well, they sell that corporate booth for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. And by the way, because when I was with Goodings, We were the first corporation to buy annual tickets for the Orlando Magic. We got 4 courtside seats, and we got 1 corporate booth, and we got 10 seats halfway up.
Yeah.
It was $100,000 a year.
Unfucking real.
Well, it's like I told you for the Silverstone race when they came back this last year. They had 356,000 fans there. Biggest amount of fans ever at a motorsports event ever.
Do you know how many millions of dollars Marlboro pays to have a logo that is not the Marlboro logo on the Ferrari cars?
Oh, it's an insane amount, dude. It's an insane amount.
It's more than like the entire 450 field makes.
Okay, but why would Marlboro put that much money into a team?
Because again, the TV package.
TV package.
TV
Who drives the TV package? Formula One.
Formula One.
Who's Formula One?
Because I don't have to
a
go
promoter.
into I don't have to go into fucking Peacock and go to browse feature.
You have to go to
you get
to go to ESPN.
sports. Yeah.
You just go on ESPN.
Go on ESPN.
But that's where it's easy for us to be armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah.
This whole thing has to be reverse engineered. If I go back to why does a 55th place guy on the PGA Tour have a Titleist cap? Because of the TV value that goes with it. Okay. Well, who's paying for that TV value? PGA. What does PGA do? They get prime time. They pay a premium for that.
Yep.
All right. So if they're, and I know it's kind of like if you're, I'm just going to be blunt. If you're RCH, right? You're Carey Hart and you're Ricky Carmichael. 2 very, very, very popular and wealthy people. They want to get Ken Roczen. So Carey Hart goes and gets Dodge, the casino, Jimmy John's. Well, wait, I'm Jimmy John's. Who's your rider? Well, we want to get Ken Roczen, but if we don't have enough money,
Because he's freaky fast.
Because he's freaky fast,
We have
right?
Josh Hill.
But if it's kind of like if then. So if I get you and the casino and I get Dodge, then I get Ken Roczen. We're all in. So they lock Ken Roczen up. Well, now you have Feld Motorsports that says, oh, we're a Toyota sponsor event. You can't have Dodge. And Dodge says, well, if we can't do activation in the pits, we're going to go. So all of a sudden, X $1 million goes out because Kenny Watson can't do activation because Feld Motorsports says, oh, no, we're a Toyota event. RCH folds. Ken Roczen's unemployed. Kenny Watson's unemployed. Ricky and Carey are still millionaires. Trucks up for sale. Driver's gone. Mechanic's gone. Technician's gone. Suspension specialist is gone because Feld Motorsports said, oh, no, you're not bringing Dodge in here. But yet you go to an NHRA event, you're going to have Ford, Toyota, Dodge, Hodaka, Can-Am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't give a rat's ass what you have in the pits because they know.
Not only that Ford car has a Hemi motor in it.
That's right. And then that driver is able to sell his merchandise. You open up those pits. You take the restrictions off. The drivers are selling merchandise. People can come up, get a signature. The model, there's plenty of successful models, but we go, nope. We want the guys to race for free. We want to make sure that everybody is completely intimidated by us because if you try to make a stand against us or show any discontent, what are we going to do? We're going to ostracize you.
Yep.
And it starts at 85, and I've got a text message to validate it. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, boys,
We solved it.
we solved it.
Hold on. What do you hear that? What is that?
It's a train.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is that? I swear, I just hear it and I feel a vibration. What is that?
Anything else anyone wants to cover?
Should we sing Paul Simon, Everybody Loves the Sound of a Train? in Distance?
Justin's feeling vibrations. I don't know how to think about this.
Is that the Black Squirrels again?
Probably.
Dude, I'm not going to be able to get that image out of my brain now. And that is just so ridiculous because that is the stupidest thing ever. Black squirrel and a nut and orgasm.
Leave it to Johnny Hopper.
Goddamn
Fucking
Johnny
only
Hopper.
Johnny.
And then he texted me a big black,
He
big
did,
black
yeah.
squirrel.
God, every time you say big black, though, I'm just afraid that somebody's going to say something else.
My phone's completely dead.
Oh,
so.
man. All right. Well, in that case. Oh,
Tom's got some.
I
Oh, boy.
hope to see, not only for Supercross and just the promoters we have, I hope to see the sport continue to grow because we have such a beautiful thing, and for all intents and purposes, this is the only sport I can think of. Formula One, MotoGP, all these hockey, you name it, whatever it is, it's the only one that's not really utilized yet. It's utilized, but it's not like the rest of them. If you go to hockey, it's $1 billion per team. $1 billion. Billion. B.
Yep.
And if you think about all these sports, all the teams we have, like they are rich because whoever pays for the team is losing money on the team. And it's the only sport I can think of that's like that. Because if you go to Mercedes Formula One, if you go to Williams, which is kind of a joke of a team, I shouldn't say this, but if you go to Williams in Formula One, it's the only team, and they're still making money. If you go to our sport, if you go to MotoGP, if you go to any of them, it's only our sport that's not making money per team. And so I've been on a few teams, and all of them lose money.
Yep.
All of them.
Well, what's the joke? How do you make $1 million in motocross? Start with 2.
Yeah.
4. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and the last thing I'll say, and like Coach said, the disclaimer, Kev, we're only saying him because he's in studio. We help him out. Great guy. Everything that we're saying, he said his piece. He's not a part of pretty much everything that we said other than what he said personally. I'll just say it, not because I really don't care, because I've worked for enough privateers, been around this. Guys like Kev, Scott, Bobby, Jace Kessler, they're all getting fucked. I'll just say it. Like, I don't really care. Cancel us, get pissed at us. I really don't care. They're getting fucked.
Expect to see that lawsuit from MX.
Yeah, I don't really
any
care,
day
dude.
right
I don't
now.
really care. It just pisses me off. It just does.
This is where Michaela says I'm the king of hypocrites. Okay, because I said earlier that social media doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But these types of subjects, these types of shows, is what's going to make a difference, because it's going to take somebody that's going to look at this and go, "Man, what an opportunity!" You know, it may be the 3 of us, it may be the 5 of us, it may be the 8 of us. I don't know, but we've got some friends that have shown some interest that have unlimited funds. The difference is it's got to get organized first.
Yep.
And I politely disagree with Hopper when he says we're constantly bitching. I don't see bitching. To me, expressing discontent, expressing, we obviously have you have a lot of relationships with a lot of top privateers. We're not trying to stir the stink pot. But what Cooksey put out
I
there,
don't know. I bought a big spoon for that just to do that. So
well, but you think about it.
yeah.
Cooksey's contract article was able to expose this idea. When we say there's money, I don't know about you, but I think I could do pretty good. How many rounds are there outdoors?
12.
12 at 600, 700 grand.
Oh yeah.
I could live on that.
Oh, yeah.
I just barely, but I could live on that.
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Might be able to pull like 50 grand a year out of
Might be
that.
stretch.
You know,
It might be
Exactly.
stretch.
Could you promote a series out of that, though?
Fuck. Yeah.
Oh, God. That's
Yeah.
a story for off
give me
camera.
a $7
Yeah.
or $7 million budget a year, and I'm
and
in.
the great thing that I love about Cooksey, and I didn't read the whole thing, but whatever. The great thing I love about that is for years people kind of blackballed Bud Feldkamp, saying, "Oh, he's a pain in the
Playing
ass to deal
hardball."
with." But it's like now that that's out there, it's like, oh, well, no, he was actually just standing up for himself and doing the right thing. Like, I don't know, every other business person in the world wants to do.
Yeah.
because
Wants to make money.
Because it pissed me off because people were like, oh, Bud Feldkamp, he's not understanding and he hates Davey Coombs and all this shit. And it's like, no, he's just, being like a business guy.
What about when Guy Cooper went on Whiskey Throttle?
Oh, yeah.
It's like right after the 4-hour mark, and he's like, "Hey, I took my winnings. I bought some property. I made what do you call it? Cooperland."
Yeah, Cooperland.
He's like, "My only intention was to have an outdoor national." Davey Coombs came over and said, "You need to play by the game." What'd Rita say? "What do you think you're doing?" And Guy was very vocal. He's like, "I called the AMA, said I want to do a national." They said, "Call MX Sports." Calls MX Sports, no reply, no reply. Calls back to AMA. Goes to a national. Both of them come over and like, "What do you think you're doing?" And what did Rita say? "You will never get a national." And Davey said, "Learn to play the politics." I'm paraphrasing here,
Yeah.
but essentially, you took the wrong path. And he was quoted as saying, "You'll never get it." Or I think Rita said, "You'll never get a national." Go to Whiskey Throttle. It's right after the 4-hour mark. It's not hearsay. Guy Cooper lived it. And what did he do? He said, "I'll never get a national." Sold the property.
That's why I hope one day we get to hear Junior from WW's story.
Yeah.
I want to hear his story on the whole thing, like uncut. I don't know if we'll ever get that. Maybe he just doesn't want to.
Well, he can't. I mean, he'll get crucified. It's
That's
just
what I mean.
It's just like Baggett. He'll never be able to talk.
Well, maybe one day we'll find out what happened with Muddy Creek, and Washougal, that whole thing will come out, and just more and more stuff. Maybe guys will just be sick and tired of it.
What a novel idea, though. Give them an alternative that they can make money, and then they don't mind going vocal.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other things going on with trainers and other shit that's going on, and the house of cards is going down very, very hard, and it's not coincidental. You're starting to see guys exit stage left because they realize the truth is about to come unfolded, if that's proper English. What you're about to see is go study the Tour de France, Lance Armstrong, go look at Dr. Ferrari, standing up saying, I never failed a drug test, never failed a drug test. And what do we find out?
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that there's a lot of stuff going on in the sport behind the scenes, the stuff that we're talking about, that there's a shitstorm coming. You know, not maybe just from the stink that all of us talk about, some of the other people, like you just said, Coach, just getting fed up with it. But I just do feel that there's a shitstorm coming. And I think maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, but I think it's coming. Eventually, the people that we keep talking about, they're going to get what's coming to them.
Look, I didn't buy this big spoon to stir the stink pot to not to create a shitstorm, okay?
Yeah. Well, I
Nazis.
mean, it's like the whole Lance Armstrong story. When you get enough people that get the truth, eventually the truth will settle. Mm-hmm. And that sounds very philosophical and even maybe a little bit rhetorical. But the idea here is the walls are coming in, and eventually there's going to be enough people with the same consistent story, exactly what took down Lance. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't take performance-enhancing drugs. Well, you get the massage therapist, and you get a disgruntled Tyler Hamilton, and then all of a sudden there's a subpoena, and then George Hincapie's having a chat. There's a lot of disgruntled people in this sport. So the people who think they've insulated themselves they're going to be sorely disappointed.
Yep.
It's just a matter of time.
About to happen in our own sport.
But are we trying to be the catalyst for that? No. What I'm saying is it's kind of like when I went public and said, hey, Hayden Deegan's going to go to Yamaha. I got ostracized. The amount of DMs that
we
I
look real
got.
stupid on that, don't we, guys?
Well, the amount of visceral DMs I got, and I'm like, all I would reply is just hang tight. And I don't want to say I told you so, but
Did you save them all? Because I'd have saved them all, and then when he went there, I'd have just sent middle finger
Just
emojis to
mass
all of
text.
them.
yeah, I mean, because it's not about me being right. I mean, the idea is I'm just the same way when we announced that Tomac was going to go to Yamaha. But yet you talk about Deegan, and for some reason there's like this artificial bubble, like you can't talk about him. And for people to say, well, you should have waited for Deegan to make that announcement.
Why?
We had to wait for Tomac to say, oh, I'm going to take a X% pay
We
cut.
have no affiliation to Deegan. Why do we got to wait?
But that's what's amazing is the Deegans have created this fan base that if you say anything about them,
Oh, it's a cult.
it is a cult. And it's kind of like what Ricky said. When Ricky came in and they lowered him down with the cap or the crown as the king and all that, he hated that. But that was a promoter thing. But eventually Ricky went from everybody hates him to everybody loves him, just like everybody loved McGrath. Then everybody loves Ricky. Then everybody loved James. And it goes on and on and on. But my point in all that, that's where social media is going to be interesting, because the people that don't want it to be exposed, they can't censor the social media. And that's where it's going to be interesting.
You know, while we're talking about things that grow the sport, I think that something that we haven't tapped into yet is James Stewart. And it's funny because he's one of the most, he's the fastest man on the planet at sometimes, and there is very little interaction with him at all ever after he got totally boned by our sport itself. And I think that was part of the FIM thing. But now we have one of the, well, it's a shame that it happened the way it did, and I think that's fucked. To be straight with you guys, but the thing is that that is a very strong force of our sport. He's a very, very powerful. He's one of the most fascinating people we've ever had in the history of our sport.
He had a Nike sponsorship, for God's sake.
Yeah, him and Dungy and the Nike boots. But anyway, so we have these assets, and they are literally assets. We are business owners. They are assets, and we are not using them because we fucked them in our own sport, and it's unutilized. These people can grow our sport. One thing about the dollar amount that goes into all this stuff we're trying to grow, but fuck the dollars, is just grow the sport. And Corona helped with that, but we're trying to grow it naturally by our own awesomeness right now. And James Stewart is the number one most awesome, for a long time at least, the number one most awesome personality, the rider we all looked at for a decade plus. And we look at that and we have unutilized because they were treated poorly by our own promoters. And we look at that right now, and we have these promoters that are still in the sport, and let's just say the Coombs family, we look at them and they love the sport more than anyone is in this. They've had Dave Coombs Sr. and his wife and Davey and now there's grandkids involved. If they're going to be the people that control it, they love it as much as we do at least. And we want to see them utilize it to its potential, because we see the other sports that are similar. We see Formula One, MotoGP, all these are good examples right now, but all these sports.
Sure.
We see them controlled by people that are corporations, not people that love it. And we have the unique privilege of our leadership team love our sport as much as we do at least. And if that is the case, we want to see that utilized. We don't want to just see it treated kind of poorly as corporate. We want to see it really run with, because it's one of the few that's remaining that's not really run with yet. Even cycling, even fucking bicycling is bigger. How funny is that? I mean, everybody rides a bicycle, but it's fucking bicycling. On TV, like, if that can be bigger than motocross, and we have guys like James Stewart that post once every 4 years and don't really engage with the TV program and that kind of thing, that is not correct. And if you need to make it correct as a promoter, then it's time to fucking make it correct, right? We're talking about growing the sport. If you want it to grow, you need personalities and people that influenced our whole growth, like James Stewart, like Jeff Emig, those guys, Grant Langston, who got boned by the whole thing. Dude. If we have that situation as a promoter, your job is to promote, aka grow this thing. It's time to get after it, because we can get along and we're going to continue to grow. We're up 45% from last year. That's good, but we have already innate in our own sport the capacity to grow more, and it's time to utilize that more.
But they're not going to, though, because why is cycling more popular than motocross? Because Lance Armstrong became a household name, which goes back to that's what we're not doing. Netflix, all the things that we've talked about tonight. And that's the part that's so disgusting, is it's like you said, we have so many examples, PGA, NBA, all these ball and stick sports. All you got to do is emulate the model. We're not reinventing the wheel here, but because there's no motivation to do that. And then you look at James, like you say, one of the most flamboyant figures in our sport. Where's he going to go now that he lost Sexton? Yeah, he has no voice in the sport.
Which is another weird thing too. I wish we could have had a chance to talk.
But
about
nobody's
that.
talking. But nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, I know.
Where's Sexton even going to? Who's he working with?
That's a good question.
Why did Sexton run Dungy off? Jade Dungy.
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah. Jade's now spinning wrenches for AP.
Yeah, Jade's not with him
over
anymore.
at KTM. But now all of a sudden Sexton, and I was one of the most vocal, I think he's the future of the sport, new mechanic, no James Stewart. So now James has lost his only leverage in the sport because for some oddball reason he decided to start critiquing Supercross races, puts a video up, gets 57,000 views in one day, shows his pull. Where's he going?
Getting his kids into golf.
But, I mean, I hate to say it. Let's say we give Malcolm 2 more years, 3 more years, 4 more years. Malcolm goes away. Stewarts are gone.
Yeah, because like I said, James is not getting his kids into it. He's already said he's not getting them into riding.
Well, and like Tom said, I mean, here's a guy, you don't even have to create it. It's created, but we're doing nothing to tap into it.
No. Why would you? Who wants to make money?
I mean, for God's sakes, James got his own fucking TV show when he was racing.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you got to say. As corny as Bubba's World was, and it was all staged shit, he got his own TV show.
Yep.
There'll be never, and I know people can say this about Jet and all this and that, but no, there will never be another motocrosser ever that will get his own TV show.
Nope.
And it's like...
But in all fairness, though, there's things that Lucas Myrtle is doing, and you'll see around Christmas time, there's things that he's doing that our sport hasn't seen in 10 years.
Well, we talked about this, like with Lucas, with him actually caring about his riders.
Well, I mean, when's the last time we had a motocrosser on the Today Show?
Probably James Stewart.
I mean, literally.
That's probably it.
Literally.
Yeah, it's probably James Stewart.
But my point is, it's not the promoters that's putting those 2 boys on the Today Show.
Yeah.
It's Lucas Myrtle.
I mean, for God's sakes, when they were, what was it?
That's a very valid.
It's crazy.
At the MotoGP, when Hunter got his Red Bull helmet.
Yep.
Like, I understand that Jet is one of the bigger Red Bull athletes, but it's at a MotoGP event where you have Marc Marquez, and they were like treated like royalty. The Lawrence brothers, they had their own little suite up top on whatever turn that was, and they were treated like royalty.
I mean, Jet was right up there where they go on the podium.
I know.
Because he handed Marquez the donut after Marquez won.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
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 It's definitely a Red Bull tie-in.
Which, by the way,
but
Myrtle definitely
Myrtle's the guy
made that
behind.
happen.
Let's hand out donuts at the races. Let's do a VIP. I still love
was that his idea?
Yes.
That's I
Yes.
kind of figured, and I know
Yeah.
that was an easy transition.
Well, and it's just like the My OnlyFans. You know, the fact that Jet went out and said, "Hey, look, if I do a My OnlyFans account, my mom's going to kill me." So he goes up and does a My
What are you doing,
OnlyFans,
Jet?
but he does a My OnlyFans section at the race.
Yeah.
Underneath the Red Bull, and then you have to pay to be there. He's doing exactly what we've talked about tonight. I don't know if he gave the money to charity. I don't know if that went to the track owners. I don't really care. That's another discussion for another day. He Myrtle, his dad, Dazzy is what we call him. His name's Darren. We call him Dazzy. You know, I don't care who it was. It was a collective effort. But we're talking about it on a talk show.
I really wonder when he gets his 450 contract if it's going to be the biggest 450 contract ever.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
100%.
Because I mean, I heard numbers about like what James was making, just
Yeah.
But it's like it makes me wonder if Jet's going to have this.
The
single-
Lawrences will be flying private to every race once
Yeah.
he goes 450.
Ken's probably got the
Ken's
biggest.
the biggest, and Webb is second,
and then Eli would be third.
Eli
though.
is third.
Yeah.
Eli took a pretty big pay cut this
Oh
year.
yeah. Yeah.
Which I love it because I'm just going to be blunt. I've talked to a couple agents. I know exactly what his pay cut was, and yet he went on another talk show and said, "Oh, it wasn't about money." Bull
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
shit.
Okay, bro.
Pardon my language, especially with ladies in the room. You know, it's bullshit. He was not even offered a contract from Kawasaki.
Because we know how
He would have been
That
the
depends-
first.
That depends if you listen to the interview.
Interview. He had options out the wazoo, right? Bullshit. KTM was full. Honda's full.
Look, bro, he was going to take Barsha's spot on gas.
Yeah.
And the
Have
funny
fun.
And the funny part
fun.
was his pay cut was substantial.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And he would have been the first guy in history to go from the #1 champion to fucking unemployed.
Or his
No one in history would have ever done that.
He took over $1 million pay cut, didn't he, to go there?
What's 2.4? My phone died. I could do some math.
Close to $1.5 million then.
Are his bonuses?
Because I heard he signed for. He went what? Sorry, I'm not understanding the numbers. 3 million.
Percentage cut,
Oh, 30%. He got lost.
roughly.
Are his bonuses going to be pretty big? Does anybody know that?
That I haven't heard about the bonuses.
I would assume with the way Star's throwing around money right now, and with them just winning a championship and all this shit, his bonus has got to be pretty high.
Well, look, I know.
I would assume that.
I
Maybe
know
I'm wrong.
Coach is not trying to throw around exact numbers or whatever, and obviously none of us really
yeah,
know
we don't-
because we haven't signed the contract. I heard that he went from like 2.4 down to it's like 975, 925 to ride for Star. That's a big ass pay cut to go
Yeah.
to Star.
Which makes me believe why I asked the question. I feel like his bonuses have to be pretty high.
maybe.
Well, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, just throw the bonuses up and see
Well,
what.
and especially with who Eli is. I'm just going to go win today.
yeah.
So
Just-
like,
I mean,
just-
let's face it. If you can negotiate an extra 75 grand per win at the rate he can win
when he wants to.
when he wants to. I mean, you go out and win 10 races. Well,
But do you think
in
that-
Supercross you made that money up easy?
So you're thinking that bonus is going to go over $100,000 a weekend?
Oh,
I don't think
about that.
I don't think that's possible.
You don't think
I don't think there's any way that they're going to offer more than they're giving Webb and Roxon
I feel like
per
his-
weekend.
I feel like his bonus is probably capped at like $70K.
you don't think that they played that game with think
Yeah.
How much does Ricky Wood per win?
100. No, Ricky signed a contract with Suzuki.
Just bonuses, right?
No, end of season bonus.
Yeah.
Championship bonus, no weekend bonuses.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Ricky said, "I want no money per weekend, but I want an astronomical for the championship."
Yep.
Now we could talk about why he was willing to risk that.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, he's like, no weekend bonuses.
Yeah.
Only pay me for a championship.
And, it makes sense after the whole Honda thing that we were talking
Yep.
about
Yeah.
coming from Honda.
Yep.
You
And
know.
Suzuki bit, and
Hey, look,
and
it worked
Ricky
out for him.
cashed.
It worked out for him though. Everybody won.
Yeah. Well, his ex-wife won, but it worked out really well. Yeah.
Ursula did win.
Ursula did really, really well on that deal.
great job, Ursula.
Yeah,
Good job. Round of applause.
You're the real MVP.
You're the real
Yeah.
winner of this story.
But at the end of the day, though, like you say, it will be interesting to see because, if you think about it, when that contract was signed with Eli, he had no other option. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't know that the championship bonuses were going to be, or the weekend bonuses are that big. Because
maybe not.
hey, where else are you going to go, dude?
Yeah.
If I'm Yamaha, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to give you that much. Now, I don't know for a fact. I'll talk to some agents this week and find out, but it'd be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if Yamaha played hardball and goes, instead of $100,000, we'll give you 50.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering Cooper Webb's about to go to that team in a few years.
Yeah,
So, we're going to have Dylan, Eli.
That's exactly the truth right there.
By the way, anybody, breaking news, if people just don't argue about it, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, so just let it go.
But here's $1 million, or excuse me, here's the $1 million question. Does that team continue to get a budget big enough for
Oh, God.
Webb, Ferrandis?
13 guys.
Well, think about it. You got J Mart. He's going to go out of 250 class this year. He's got to go 450 next year.
And he probably is making a decent amount of money. You don't think? No?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the amount of money he signed for is staggering. So
Is
if
this bonus program good?
bonus program is
Okay,
good.
so at least that's good.
Yeah, but
Okay.
because of the 2 years of injuries, inconsistent. So the base went down.
Yep.
Okay.
He's probably gonna have to go back to the dealership actually during the
start
week.
mopping.
Yeah,
Start
mop
toilets.
floors, yeah,
yep.
to make
but,
up.
But think about that team. You have Ferrandis.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have Webb comes back. You've already Eli's done at the end of the year, I believe. So
Craig.
He's got an option second year.
Craig is the guy that's going to go up to the next level.
Justin Cooper.
Craig will do well.
Yeah, but Craig's only got what? He's like Zach. He's got what, 2-3 years in the 450 class at most.
Yeah,
But
his
for
body's
next
healthy.
year, who goes there?
But his
Because
body's also healthy.
Webb wants to come back in 2. Where does he go? You got Coop going up. You've got J Mart up, down, wherever he decides to go. And then we can't forget you've got the Lawrence brothers. I mean, as soon as Roxham retires, you've got Jet has got Roxham's
Yeah, but then
position.
Honda's full for however many years here.
don't
Because
think
let's
Hunter-
face it, Chase is locked up there.
No, Hunter's going to KTM.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what we had
That's
talked
where
about.
Hunter's going.
Yeah.
But like I said, though, with the Yamaha thing, though, like I said, you got Eli, you got Cooper coming back, you
Yeah.
got J Mart, you got Christian Craig, you
Ferrandis.
got Justin Cooper, Dylan Ferrandis, Levi Kitchen, Nicholas Romano, Matt LeBlanc, Hayden Deegan.
Keep
you don't
going.
think Hayden, when he goes to that team, he's gonna want Nate Thrasher,
I mean, you're looking at Deegan's looking
9,000 people,
at you're looking at Deegan that's looking at 2 years and done. He's going straight to
which is
450.
gonna be the worst thing ever. It's gonna be like Jet Reynolds.
Well, like I said to you guys today, is there enough oxygen at Yamaha?
At some point, it's gonna fold on itself. Like
Well,
Honda.
it just reminds me of Honda when you had O'Mara, you had
David
Bailey,
Ricky
and you
Jones.
had Johnson, and it was just constantly peacock.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, if Eli is still around, just say for the sake of this argument, he is still around when Cooper goes back there. There's no way in hell Cooper Webb, Dylan Ferrandis, and Eli Tomac are all going to be able to be under the same tent.
But think about it. You're talking 2 years. Cooper goes back. Where's Hayden Deegan? If he makes the cut, he stays healthy.
Yep.
Fuck. I mean, you talking about rolling it out. I mean, where are you going to get room for 4 guys like that?
Bobby Regan is going to be broke.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you're looking at, let's say around roughly.
Yamaha sells a lot of pianos. I think we'll be fine.
Let's just say roughly. Right now, the top guys are between 2 and 2.4, 2.5 mil. You're gonna have 4 of those dudes on a team. 10 million on 450 program.
What do you think? Is Deegan's 250 contract bigger than anybody other than Jet?
God,
That's a good question. How can it not be?
What's Jet's following?
Jet has a big following.
I know he does, but I'm just saying, is he $1 million on following?
No,
he's
no.
not $1 million. No, Brian Deegan is actually the only.
So does that follow?
Guy.
So does that following, even though his results are nothing like what Jets are going to be, does that following get him that thing? Like, do they?
Well,
do they factor
the
the social
the
that much?
scuttlebutt that
Whoa.
I'm hearing right
Gotta
now.
cut you off, sir.
No, it's already empty.
It's empty.
So that's
He's
why
good.
we gotta cut
He's
you off
good.
for sure.
He's
the,
good.
the scuttlebutt that I'm hearing is that the team is a little concerned that social media following is actually going to be a distraction. That's one of their concerns.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot.
And that's why Brian is so adamant about, he has a full-time team.
Mm-hmm.
That full-time team is being paid by the revenue from YouTube. But like he put on Jace at Gypsy Tales,
Yeah.
it's a 24/7, 365 job. What's he got?
But doesn't Brian?
I don't know.
But doesn't Brian keep saying?
Right now.
Doesn't Brian keep saying though, and even said when he was on with Jace, like once Hayden goes pro, he's just gonna step back and he's just gonna.
Yeah,
he's gonna let. And
sounds great on a podcast
Yeah, and I
show.
don't believe that for 1 second.
It sounds great
Yeah.
right now while he's on Star,
And I don't believe
until
that
he
for 1
needs a
second.
ride.
Yeah, he's going to back away like Villapoto's dad did, Ricky Carmichael's mom did,
Michael Essie.
Michael Essie
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
gonna be great.
Did you
I've
see
got a
that-
bridge in
did-
Georgia to sell you too.
Did you see that sweet promo that Ricky and his parents did in the Deegan vlogs where they showed up to the farm and were coaching that is like his first week?
Well, you also saw who else
No way.
You also
Ricky,
saw
Jeannie. I think Big Rick was there too.
Well, Big Rick's
All
funny.
of them.
I
All
love
of them.
Big.
I mean,
think
it doesn't surprise me
Big
Big Rick
Rick's-
being there
if he's
because
in
he'd
there-
go out there just to drive the water truck from what I know.
But see, if he's in
but
there, I love
him.
But Jeannie and Ricky being there,
that would really surprise me though if Big Rick was in there though, because he's kind of like he doesn't really like to be.
he
in the
didn't say
eye.
anything.
Yeah, okay.
He was just
All right.
standing there.
Well, I can guarantee it wasn't his idea.
Oh fuck
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Jeannie
It
was
wasn't him
like,
on
"Get in the
camera."
car."
Get your.
But did you see?
ass in the
You
car.
did see though who was training Hayden though in his first video that went up of him riding Supercross, right?
His dad.
No, it was Tyler. Tyler was in the video training him.
Oh, really?
Tyler Rattray?
Yeah, he was telling him how to hit whoops.
Not at the goat farm.
No, where they were at, wherever he's doing his first Supercross video of him on the 250F, Tyler was the one training him.
That has to be
at
at
the goat
Tyler's.
farm.
That has to be at Tyler's place.
Yeah.
'Cause Tyler doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
They were at the goat farm.
I think Coach is right. There's no way Tyler.
So it was either not Tyler you saw,
No, it was
or
Tyler.
it was not the first one where they were on the 250F.
It was
because they
Tyler.
were at the goat farm for
yeah,
like the first
this
week.
this was Tyler.
Interesting.
Was he riding with Romano?
No, this was with Ferendis. He was riding with Dylan.
Oh, that could be then.
That'd have
Yeah.
to be goat farm, but I don't believe that
No.
Ricky Carmichael's going to let Tyler Rattray.
That's why it makes me believe that I don't think it was at the goat farm. I don't think the first video that I saw was him riding at the goat farm because the track looked way too tamed down to be the goat farm.
I don't know.
Because it was him, Dylan, and it wasn't Romano. I think it might have been Kitchen.
Yeah, so I don't know that.
Because you got to remember, Romano's place is right down the street from Tyler's. Mm-hmm. So, if
But it was Tyler. I'll have to get on tonight and check. But I remember because he was telling Hayden like, "Hey man, you got it the way heading to whoops." Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was a little interesting because like, how are you gonna have Tyler train you, but then you're gonna go to the goat farm?
I don't know.
And then who's the on the bike coach for those guys at Goat Farm? Besides the propaganda bullshit.
Ooh, that is a good question. I don't know.
I mean, who would? I mean, I don't know.
It's not Seth Rarick.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. See you. Bye.
Yeah, he's. Wait, he's at Butler's? No, wait, he's at Star? No, he's at Gas. No, he's at.
No, he's at Rocky Mountain.
No, he's at Hodaka.
He'll be
That's where he's
fired.
at.
He'll be fired again soon. He'll be fired again soon.
He's at Can-Am.
Yeah, he'll be fired again soon. It's fine. He'll be riding quads here pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really know who would be the on.
I
don't
can't remember.
know.
They've said it, but I don't remember, to be honest with you.
A riding coach at Goat Farm?
See, which
I
is
mean,
weird, 'cause
it was
can't see anybody-
it was Jeannie and Ricky one day.
I was about to say I can't see anybody other than Jeannie though.
But I can't remember.
I would think it'd be David Villeman if anybody.
I can't remember on Gypsy Tales. No, you want to know who's working with Villeman that I was surprised to find out the other day? Nichols.
Colt?
Yep.
God, how did we just forget about him
Nichols
as
and-
another star guy?
Yeah.
Just being injured so much.
Good
Nick,
God.
Nichols,
Supercross champ, and we don't
Nichols
even remember.
And there was 3 of them that were working with him. So it was Nichols, Ferrandis, and somebody
Just
else.
what you need. 7 more chiefs in the kitchen, you know?
Uh-huh.
Cooks in the kitchen.
We should get Chief Luke in there and get Bogle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, is there enough oxygen at the goat farm?
No, it's going to burn out pretty soon. There's no way, as successful as they are, even if they won every race from here on out, there's no way they're going to be able to keep it going.
Justin and I were talking about this earlier. You know who's got to be absolutely spitting bullets?
Who?
Joe Gibbs.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, our model is you will live here, you will train here, it's all in one. We have a shop on. And then you sit there and you listen to Deegan. He goes, you know what makes Goat Farm so cool? We have a problem with suspension. We roll in. Right there. And I'm like, Coy Gibbs has got to be like, fuck me. Mm-hmm. Pardon my language, ladies.
A little weird
He's
that he
got to
was-
be like, fuck me. We tried to get you guys here. We have a freaking NASCAR R&D department. We can fabricate it in an hour if you want it. Oh, no. We don't want to live in North Carolina.
You want a new spring rate? We'll make you
We'll
a new
make
spring
you
rate
one.
right now.
And then Deegan's like, it's awesome. The trainers are here. The R&D guys are here. The chassis guys are here.
It is super confusing.
Look,
that
Coy's
the
crying in a
that the
corner right
JGR
now.
thing did not work.
The
But-
reason why it didn't
crying.
work is because James Stewart came in and goes, we aren't gonna.
Your
We're
bike
not doing
sucks."
this.
Yep.
I am the best. You're not going to make me live here. And every sequential person after that said, he didn't do it. I'm not doing it.
So here's the thing, though. So James comes in and says that this is where we can keep going back and forth about Star and JGR, okay? But then you have Tomac is going to Florida to I mean,
How did that happen?
I don't
How did
fucking
that
know.
happen?
It
Well,
blows my mind because
well.
Tomac's got the clout. He's in that point of his
But
career
how-
where he can do the same thing James did to JGR. Fuck you, I'm not going.
Yep.
But he even said he's only going to be there though so much though.
But he was still going.
I understand that, but like but for him saying he's going, how much time is he actually going to spend there though?
Hey, did you guys ever notice something really interesting?
Huh.
I'm going to go completely bunny trail stage
boy.
left.
Oh boy, here we
boy.
go.
You ever notice
Flat
how you notice how these facilities have a gate and a long driveway to get to the track?
Uh-huh.
You ever studied how USADA does drug testing?
No.
They can't go, I don't know.
They can't get through the gate.
Ah, true.
Oh.
So talking to
No wonder James got that big driveway.
you notice the consistency?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
And
That's-
so I was talking to a guy who's, let's just leave it where it is. When they land,
Somebody very important.
A guy.
when they would land to go test Usain Bolt, by the time that plane landed, and think about the size of that country, size of a squirrel nut. Okay,
Black squirrel.
black squirrel. All right, that big. By the time the plane landed, everybody in Usain Bolt's inner circle, he was gone, was never available for testing.
Probably Ray.
And if you understand USADA, they don't hang around. This is why, and I want the listeners to go Google this. I don't remember if it's Venus or Serena. The USADA people showed up to her house to test her for
She
drugs.
locked herself in her fucking
She called
panic room.
She called 911.
Yeah.
And then she called the director of USTA and said, "Get these fuckers out of my house right now." And they called them and said, "Leave."
Probably Serena.
It's literally Google it. I mean, it's an article because she realized, she can pull her strings, her power strings. I just find it awfully ironic. Like, oh, we don't want spectators out here. We don't want this. We don't want that. We don't want this. We want that. It's interesting. USADA gets an address. They can't get through that front gate. I've been at the goat farm. I was there for almost a year with Dungy. Okay. If you don't know the code, you're not getting in that gate.
Wasn't that like at James' house? He has a strict no phone policy.
Oh, fuck. I mean, James's gate's like the Taj Mahal.
Oh, I know.
Everybody's
seen the stupid video the AC, and I won't mention the other guy's name, did. But like, yeah, they've had a no phone policy there for a while.
Yeah. But then you go out to Villapoto's, which is now was Grant Langston's. It went to Villapoto, that's now Sandbox. Okay. You can't get down there. I mean, guys, if you saw where the address is at, it's like go to the left oak tree, take a left, go to the 17th oak tree.
Circle back around, do a 180.
Do a 180, go 117 feet, take a left to go 44 feet to the left, and the key will be on your right to go through the gate. I've been to all these facilities.
And then you still got to jump over the fence.
And then you got to jump over the fence, and then maybe you might be able to get through the gate after you rub your head and your belly at the same time. You got to start asking yourself, it's like, really? Where's the whereabouts program,
God, Big James is a genius.
So at any rate, I'm not trying to take it down a different bunny trail, but I do find it interesting, as Deegan's talked about, Goat Farm's out in pretty much bumfuck Egypt. You know what I mean? I mean, it's out there.
Yeah.
There's nothing glamorous around Cairo, Georgia.
The Deegan thing is real interesting because they happen to be, I just read today, they happen to be looking for a place in North Carolina. And why, if you're Deegan, if you're Brian Deegan, you have a girl that races NASCAR, why would you want to be moving to North Carolina, right? It's a shame for the Deegan family that JGR folded up because that link right there is very valuable if you're Brian.
Well, hold on. Let's link this here a
Go
little
for it.
different
I know
way.
where you're going.
What about new Triumph motorcycles? Is that where you were going with this too?
Yep.
Oh, you mean Eric Kehoe?
So there are rumors flying around that Triumph is talking to JGR about making a comeback when they come out with the bike here in a couple of years.
Build the whole bike?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but they don't need to build the bike because it's a Suzuki. Or is it a KTM?
KTM.
Or is it a Gas? Or is it a Husqvarna?
One of those steel
It's a
frame gangs.
Can-Am.
Look, bro, it's going to have a
frame
husky neck. It's going to have a KTM subframe and a gas swing arm.
Yep.
Something
got
like
it.
that.
Tell me more. I want to understand what I'm getting into right now.
With the Triumph? Well, Eric Kehoe
I was
done
going to say, there's 3 players. Go ahead.
and Eric Kehoe just done left Honda, and he's going to Triumph, and they're going to have a full-blown race team in what, 2023? 2020, 2022?
22, they
3.
said maybe
Yeah,
for
I would-
outdoors.
I would
but
say
that
2.
was it.
But
I don't know. We got word that a certain somebody is testing that bike right now.
Yeah, Hot Sauce is doing Supercross testing on a Triumph right now.
Really? So
that's what I'm
is
hearing.
Is he gone from Pro Circuit then?
No.
That's an interesting thing too.
No.
When they said that, I was like, "What the fuck?"
See,
is
because
he?
I had a buddy hit me up before Ollie left to go be Barsha, and he talked about, for me, like, hey, you want to work at Pro Circuit because they're not only looking for all new mechanics other than Joe's, but they're also looking for a testing guy for Ivan. But he never said anything about, oh, it's a Pro Circuit tester. I'm like, now that all this is coming out, I'm like, huh.
But take it a step further. Suzuki doesn't have a test track anymore.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the JGR facility was for sale.
Well, and if you look
I got
at
sent
it,
a link. I looked at it.
Well, if you look at it, the platform, the discussions were, and I announced this after Loretta's, and people said I was batshit crazy.
Well, you are, but it's fine.
Yeah. Suzuki,
We're still here.
The conversation was the Triumph platform will either be Suzuki or KTM.
Mm-hmm.
Then I heard that KTM was going to buy the Suzuki race team division. And
yeah,
now all of a sudden you have the scuttlebutt of Triumph, right?
Mm-hmm.
You already have the who, what, where, and when. You don't have to recreate anything by the momentum that's already in place. And what is Ricky a brand ambassador of?
Suzuki. Triumph. For
Who
their
was with
Suzuki.
So where's the R&D momentum going to come from?
Mm-hmm.
Who's got the clout? So now you got a Ricky, Triumph ambassador,
Mm-hmm.
R&D dollars platform, Eric Kehoe, one of the most successful managers in history.
Hell yeah, he is.
Being funded by, but
Yes.
being funded by,
No, sorry,
being funded by
what? No,
Bobby
no.
Hewitt.
Bobby Hewitt.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Changes everything.
Yeah.
So where does Jason Anderson go next?
Well, Jason's got a 2-year deal with Cowie, so he'll be content there. But
He'll retire after that deal.
that's exactly it. That's where he'll retire. Because at this point, he's comfortable. He's pissed off. He's proved his point, but he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now you start looking at that platform. If we're looking at 1.5 to 2 years, now the 250 graduates have a completely different landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the toolage of Kehoe, the R&D of Ricky, the clout of Ricky with Suzuki/Triumph/Suzuki/Triumph that's being tested by Hot Sauce, who Ricky is very tight with.
And is actually very, very good at his job.
And then to top it off, you have a businessman who's run a successful team that, mind you, is still around, even though they kicked him out. But he kept that thing alive until the point that it got good enough that they kicked him out.
Kind of like we always talk
Well, he didn't
about.
get kicked out. He got bought out.
Oh, he got bought out?
He got bought out.
Okay, see, I haven't heard anything. All of a sudden, I knew he was gone,
Yep.
and
well,
it
they kind of forced him out / bought him out. But
Did Husky buy him out, though?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But
yeah, Bobby would definitely.
Bobby is an importer of granite, so he doesn't need our sports money.
Nope.
Again, different bucket of money. Bobby, as you said earlier, is a good businessman. Bobby doesn't need the money of anybody else. Bobby has built a reputation of being very loyal to his riders. So there's not a rider in the paddock, 85, 125, or 250, that wouldn't want to ride for Bobby.
I mean, God, look at Jalek Swole.
Yeah. I mean, Jalek would bleed for him.
Exactly.
Understandably so. So that's a great point. Where do we go 2 years from now? If Jalek doesn't get hurt, we know Bobby's extremely invested. That's a fantastic point. I think we just answered who's going to Triumph.
Jalek Swole.
If Bobby Hewitt's at the helm and with the finances, how do you go anywhere else?
Which is very unfortunate for somebody like Jordan Bailey, who has decided to step away, because if Jordan was still in this sport, Jordan Bailey would probably have a spot on that team.
Yeah.
But he decided to do the right thing in his position and step away from riding dirt bikes.
And guess what he's doing?
I actually don't know.
I have no idea.
Scratch golfer.
Oh, jeez.
He's at FSU doing walk-ons to pro-ams as a
Cool.
golfer.
That's actually pretty cool.
And he's unbelievable.
Because I always agree.
Make money at it.
Yeah.
I always agree with
If he makes a cut, it's worth $55,000.
I always agree
Probably
with
more than he made
what
as
you
a
said
pro.
about Jordan. I feel like Jordan got the bad end of the stick with a lot of things.
Well, what people don't understand about Jordan is very, very humorous. That gets misconstrued as arrogant.
Kind of like Jalek Swole.
Exactly. And I don't want to bring myself into this conversation, but Jordan was very nice to say, one of the things I tried to teach Jordan very early on is, if I don't explain to you why you're doing what you're doing, then don't do the workout, because I failed you as a physiologist.
Yep.
He goes to another program and says, why are we doing this? You do not ask a question. You do not challenge us. This is our trainer. You do what you're told. Well, that doesn't work well for Jordan and his dad, Jim. If you can't articulate why we're doing it, Jim, his dad, has a severe problem with that. And Jordan is very, very sophisticated. I mean, he's maybe humorous, but he's very, very smart kid. If you can't earn his trust in why we're doing it, Jordan's not going to do it. Jordan will sit on his hands. He'll sit down in that corner and go, I'm not doing it.
Oh, I heard him talk on the podium enough time. I know he's an articulate kid.
No.
At the Nationals.
But he's not, but people misconstrue him as being pompous and arrogant and condescending.
Yeah.
He's not. But he's the kind of kid you've got to be able to explain why. What frustrated Jordan is he brought my name up and they said, don't ever bring up Robb's name ever again. This is our program. This is what you're
I
doing.
wonder who that guy was.
Don't question it ever again. And so it just got worse and worse. Next thing you know, the guy that was running 10 through 12, 15, he's 17, 22, 24, 25. And yet people say, oh, we don't take parts off bikes. Disagree.
Also kind of funny, too. He came out earlier this year on that Yamaha or whatever it was last year, whatever. And his first race, he hole shots in the heat race and he runs up front. Haven't seen anything from Jordan in like a year up to that point.
Yeah.
Hole shots a heat race, runs up front in Supercross for like, I don't know, 6 or laps or whatever it was. And they're like, oh, kid's still actually pretty good at what he does. And then
Still a
now
good
he's-
starter.
And then now he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. But yet that doesn't happen in our sport.
No.
There's no self-sabotage.
No,
Not at all.
Not at all.
Fine. Situation
So-
is normal.
No, Jeremy Martin and
Everything's
Alex
cool.
Martin did not pit out of the back of the on the other side of the Star truck back in 2016.
No,
during
not at
Cookwood.
all.
That didn't happen.
Totally fine.
And
Alex
so-
Martin's stator did not fail purposely at high points.
No. And you look at Jordan now, he doesn't want anything to do with a dirt bike. He's at FSU as a student. Good for him. You know, his dad's a Wall Street Wall Street trader. You know, Jordan comes from his mom's a CEO, or not CEO, at one of the big banks. She's not the CEO, but like in a regional bank.
Yeah.
She's smart as heck in the banking business. His dad is brilliant in the investing business. Jordan comes from great genes. So he's like, I'm out. I'm going to go to FSU. I'm going to go on as a scratch golfer. Kind of like, who's the golfer? I want to say Tommy. It's not his name. He's represented by Puma.
Oh, Ricky Fowler. Yeah,
right?
helps out Chiz.
Exactly. So you got Fowler, who's like, I don't know,
Golf.
make 9 or 10 million a year or lose money. I
Yeah.
think I'll go golf.
I'll go make 10 mil. It's fine.
But wait till Jordan gets going. That is one dude you do not want to bet against on a golf course. He like Sexton likes to talk about that he's good.
No, Jesus, yeah.
Not anywhere close.
No, and I like Sexton. Sexton's a good guy, but on a golf course, Sexton, and that's why I like what Sexton says, or I forgot who it was. He was like, "Oh, we should get everybody together.
That was Chase. Yeah, on that.
Everybody should get together, play golf." Not if Jordan's in the game. He is going to steal your money.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, he's badass on it. So, but just kind of take that into consideration, like you said. You know, that one and done.
Yep.
And you get a little bit vocal. This is what we can kind of close tonight's show on, that whole idea. If you become vocal and you stand up against the system will eat you alive.
Well,
And Jordan
you know,
Bailey's a great example of that.
kind of talked to you about a friend of mine in California right now that's on a team, but sat out the entire summer, and now he's on a. Never mind.
Yep.
I can't go down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
I just can't. I'll get pissed.
Well, but the bottom line is it's like we talked about. You've got an 85 kid texting me saying, please don't talk about me on your podcast because I don't want to be labeled as a guy that's a complainer. And I'm like, dude, you were promised shit that never showed up.
There's nothing
Not
wrong.
once.
There's nothing wrong.
Not
yeah.
twice, but 3 times. 3 different colors that never fulfilled their obligation. I
You're
mean,
allowed to say some shit about
And that's what
that.
goes back to the sport of, we just have to conform to it, and we've got accepted that we just can't talk about it.
he went to Daytona on one color bike, went to Freestone on another color bike, and went to Loretta's on another color bike. Because, and this is the honest truth, he borrowed a bike for every single national.
That's a good way to ride. I mean, I like how that
That
works
creates
out.
consistency, doesn't?
I-
Because a Suzuki handles just like a KTM.
Sounds like Joey Savacci is a pro the last 3
It
years.
may not
Unbelievable.
create consistency, but it's affordable.
Yeah. Hey, look. Well, but what blows my mind is like I would go to the race and I'm like, why are you on this color? Well, I had to borrow my buddy's bike. Why? The guy's never delivered on the bike. Why are you
Sick.
on this color bike? Last race you were on that color. The bikes never showed up. What happened? Well, you don't want to create two. I'm like, no, you need to raise holy hell.
Mm-hmm.
Because you should be like at the front of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's still up there, but not where he should be. Because you know how it is, the discrepancy between 1 and 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's minute details of suspension, chassis, gearing.
Stuff that you get by consistently riding the same bike.
Kind of sounds like this kid I knew back in the day at 12 to 15 when Blake and Tyler Wharton were in the schoolboy class. He was a kid from Missouri. He was promised things from Yamaha, didn't get it, so he showed up to all the nationals on a completely blacked out bike.
Mm-hmm.
What bike you ride? I'm just riding a bike. What do you mean? It's just a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what brand is it? It's a bike.
Yep.
That's all I had to say to people. It's a bike.
Yep. But if you go back to an organization that if you open your mouth, if you blaspheme my series, if you blaspheme anything, well, all the way back to if Kevin were to say something on social media that's unacceptable by MX Sports, it's right there in the black and white print.
Mm-hmm.
We have the right to not allow you to race.
Yep.
We own you. Even though we're not paying you, we own you.
They tried to own my footage this year, too. It's fine.
Which, once again, if anybody's listening, Kevin, all of these thoughts are ours. This is coming from us. This is not coming from Kevin. Just let that be known. Disclaimer. Everything that he said was coming from his mouth is what he said. All the stuff we're saying has nothing to do with him.
No.
So,
none whatsoever.
In closing here, y'all think by the end of the year we're going to be not allowed to go to any of the races, or
hey, last race I went to, I got my car towed by a certain group of people. Cost me $600 cash to
Coach,
get my car back.
I want to go to a race with you. I just really do. I just really want to go to a race with you.
It's going to be a good time.
My car's filled with Moto E gear. They pretty much know who I am. Parked right where everybody else had parked. Yeah.
I want to get some sunglasses that have Moto E on it and just walk right up to Davey and look him in the eye. What's up, dude?
Justin was going to fight Davey at Ironman.
I was going to fight him because we thought we were going to run into him when we were getting our stuff to go over the TPJ rig.
I've been to Loretta 17 years. It's the first year I wasn't invited to do they have their intermission.
Yeah.
First time I wasn't asked to do an interview.
Well, you've already said you won't go to any of the outdoor stuff, right?
I refuse to go to any. No, their fuckers are not getting my money. No way.
MX of Nations, though, at Redbud next year.
I don't know. That'd be tough.
Come on, man.
Is Ustream with it?
It's going to be a Luango's thing.
No, I'm out.
Damn.
No.
Well, no. Actually, it's going to be his son. It's not going to be Giuseppe. So whatever his son, I don't know if his son is Ustream anymore. Yeah. Whatever his son, because his son took over for him, because Giuseppe really has nothing to do with it anymore.
Yeah, no, I'll live vicariously through you guys.
Damn it.
It's just one of those things that I can't do it. It's like Daytona. Like I told you guys, you're welcome to come to my house for a Daytona. It's literally a 30-minute drive from my front door to the front door of the stadium. I refuse to give them my money. No. Well, and I own 3 amateur motocross teams, and I don't even go for the amateur races.
I really hope to see that the Coombs family is part of our solution as a sport, because there is no one more in our whole sport, in the history of our sport, that is more involved than the Coombs family, and they have the ability to change anything by the flick of a wrist.
Involved or control?
We're going to have to let you in on some stuff when we get off this.
Yeah, I'm well aware that there's some...
Yeah.
Involved or control is a big difference, because when you own amateur motocross, amateur regionals, areas... You own the GNCC and you own outdoors as well as the TV rights. Where else do you go?
This is the kind way of inviting someone to be the solution instead of being the people we have to take over.
Oh, we've invited for several years.
Mike Grondal.
Yeah.
And we got to mention it. All right.
Sorry, I had to do it.
The name that certain people fear tremendously.
100%.
Oh,
so.
exactly.
And that's a great end.
Because the thing is, he does not give a fuck.
Oh, he'll tell you.
That's what I love about
him. He
Mike.
will. Trust me.
I know. And it'll be high when he does it, too.
And he has.
And he has.
Oh, he already did.
He's told us several times.
And with that being said, thanks to our sponsor,
sports,
Alias Sport.
Look, it's 1:14 in the morning.
I know. We got to wrap this up. I'm tired. Trying to ride tomorrow.
You still got to take Coach to the hotel.
Yeah, we're cool.
We got motos in the morning.
I know. We got
breakfast.
I was going to say, I'm thinking breakfast. I'm like,
we got breakfast
we got
in the
8
morning.
hours till breakfast.
Got 8 hours till breakfast.
You mean we got 7 hours until breakfast? Isn't it 8? We're doing it 8:30?
9:15.
Oh, never mind.
I'm picking
All right.
Coach up at 9:15.
Okay, so
It's
9:30?
1:15.
Okay, never mind.
So
I thought it was
8
at
hours.
8.
So Coach ain't getting his 8 hours of sleeping tonight. So
No, that's all
a
right.
problem.
I'm just thankful to be here, guys. Thank you so
Look,
much.
Coach
Yeah,
is
no
like
problem.
the most wide awake out of all of us.
I know.
Well, I don't
He's
know.
over
Tom's
here.
pretty
Just,
hyped
he's
right
like, bro,
now.
we'll just keep going.
Tom's just living life.
It looks a little different for me. My eyes are a little extra red today. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus
I don't know how that
Christ.
happens,
Okay, and with that being said, thank you, everyone.
Love
Coach,
it.
thank you for coming
Thanks
and
for
being here
having
with
us.
us. Johnny and Chris, you guys aren't on the phone anymore, but thank you guys for being on. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, BC.Pizza, TLR Coatings, Premier Custom Trailers, Alias Sport, Complete Racing Solutions, JT Cycle, and the Dirt Bike Depot. Thank you to all of them. Again, links in the description for everything. And we will be back. I think our next show is Supercross Preview, man.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll have Cole on for that one. Coach, you going to come on for that one?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Any
Basically,
invite, I'm on it.
Same thing we basically did for outdoors. We just go through the 450 class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love to.
So, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
cool. Well, thanks, everyone, for
Tommy
tuning
will be
in.
on.
Peace.
We will see you all on the next one.
Thank you. Thank you.